So you see, I'd had so much cold mackerel pie, I just had to blow off.
Wait, blow who off?
Oh, good question. Funnily enough, that is a line stolen from Sir Henry Rollins and Then by Vivian Stanshall.
What?
Bonzo Dog Doodah Band, lead vocalist.
Okay.
Yeah?
No idea.
That's not as
Now
well.
I get it. Now I'm laughing.
Now it makes sense.
Now I'm really
Anybody
having a
listening to this over the age of 45 finds that hilarious.
We don't have a listener over the age of 15. What are you talking about?
You know Mike Oldfield's Tubular Bells?
Yes.
You know the bit in it where it's like, introducing on trombone. Dun, 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 dun,
No, because I've never actually listened to the whole thing.
Wow. You uncultured swine.
Yep.
Oh, these are some deep cuts early on.
That's what they call me.
Put some beer in me, and it's early 70s prog rock. and comedians from the Cambridge Footlights.
How much beer do we have to put in you to get to Rush? Or do we have to also...
That depends on how quick I have to be.
Hey!
Oh! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Big Damn Cast. This episode is about... fuck knows. My name is Christopher, there's a dog on my feet, Johnson.
My name is Christopher, there was a dog on my feet, Johnson.
And we are joined this week by a very special returning guest here for his, whatever the fourth time of a hat-trick is. It's Christopher Charlie Johnson.
Which are about to be on my feet, Johnson. This little doggy.
Charlie,
see no Johnson,
Charlie.
hear no Johnson. Speak no
Johnson.
Touch no Johnson.
Oh,
Definitely not.
Welcome back to Big Damn Cast.
Thank you for having me, boy.
Have we hit the diminishing returns for you yet?
Oh, for me, no. No, I'm worried about your listeners and their very sort of high standards of quality that they're used to.
That was some low-key shade right there. I love it.
Look, there's a formula. We talk about pop culture, and every now and again, when the ratings drop, we mention Doctor Who.
Yeah.
For some reason, it spikes. It spikes.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, that's the solution.
That's
The thumbnail to this is just going to be a picture of Tom Baker and a cabbage.
And
with a face drawn on it.
Doctor Who, we like it.
Footage found.
Deep cuts, hot takes.
Deep cuts, hot takes on this 50-something-year-old show.
Well, that was the thing, wasn't it? Tom Baker was going to have a companion. He demanded it at one point.
He wanted a
companion.
talking cabbage.
It was
on
a
his
talking
show.
cabbage on his
Right.
shoulder. He wanted that. At the height of its power. That's what he wanted.
Do you know why? Because he's a fucking madman.
He is.
He's a crazy
And the thing about that is, of course, it never happened. It was a project that never came to be. Which brings us, gentle listener, to the semi-topic of this filth bag.
Yeah.
Charlie.
A while back.
Yes.
A wee while back now,
I
based
have
on
no
whatever the hell
fucking
this
idea
is.
when.
Yeah. Some time long since past.
The land before time, but still post-email. You emailed the show.
P-man.
I did.
Saying, please, dear God, stop.
I do sometimes. I semi-regularly email you just to check you're still alive.
You're like the neighbour whose other neighbour has gone to hospital for a little bit, and you're just popping in every 2 days to put some flakes in the fish tank.
Just to sniff under the door to check for smell.
Oh. And you emailed to
Go to the
say...
flat below and see if there's any moisture coming through.
To see if your corpses have in fact liquefied.
Well, the thing is, we both own cats, so...
you'll be gone.
Yeah, there
it
won't be
get to
anything
that
left.
stage.
Yeah.
Right down to the fucking bone by the end of day 2.
By the time I end up finding you, it'll just be an eyeless skull.
Where's Matt? And why did he leave this novelty skeleton in the living room? What's going
Oh,
on?
it's all sticky.
Just like the email that you sent in.
Yes.
Yes.
Which
We started
you always send wonderful questions. When you send questions, you always set us off on basically episode-fulfilling tangents.
I mean, never prepared for it. I had a bunch of ideas for casting the Metal Gear Solid movie after we answered the question, and I've since forgotten them again.
But to the point where that became the episode title and main subject.
Well,
because it was the most sort of like, oh yeah,
it's the most
we
interesting
talked
thing
about.
we said that entire episode.
Presumably a lot of your listeners like to hear the pair of you waffle.
Yes!
Which is something, incidentally,
Waffles.
you're both very good at.
We're so good at waffle.
So, I do like to pose these questions multi-tiered if I can, just to kind of hear you kind of trying to get a train of thought going through the station and
Of
see
mind
where you
dreams.
end up.
Mind the gap.
Yeah, quite.
Dreams.
Otherwise, you may get sucked off. What? What? Off the edge. Of
Yeah,
the platform.
Of course, yes.
If you're lucky.
Yes.
So yeah, I don't remember quite how I phrased the original question, but it was to do with projects that never quite made it to light.
Yeah.
Things that could have been.
Yes, and it goes in the world of entertainment and pop culture. More projects don't get made than do get made, and things get to various stages of development, sometimes very late in the day, sometimes things even get completed and are put on the shelf or killed off entirely for reasons we may never find out.
On a recent episode we mentioned the still in limbo New Mutants.
Yes,
which is currently languishing somewhere. It's
the things
shot.
they made, they
done.
They had a film crew, and they had actors, and they had writers and producers, all of whom were working for God knows how many months.
It's been done.
And now it's all just on a shelf, just kind of collecting dust.
It's done to the point where there was a lot of rumours of reshoots, to which Maisie Williams and Charlie Heaton recently responded, they never happened.
Yeah.
We never did any reshoots.
Unless...
we don't know what's going on with it.
Unless it was done aside from them and was a B-plot or stuff added to it, which I wouldn't be surprised.
Like not calling back two principal actors for reshoots. What are they doing with it?
Adding an entire subplot where Mr. Sinister is in an office watching it all happen.
I'm not saying it's impossible.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's weird.
By sheer coinkydink, that was also your inaugural episode of
It was, I remember. And I remember being thoroughly underwhelmed when I saw it then.
But you still can't be asked to see it now.
I can't say that my feelings on it have shifted hugely, other than to say, it's mildly more interesting by the fact that it's not coming out.
Yeah,
that's probably...
It's becoming a cinematic oddity by its non-existence.
The seeming train wreck nature of its release is making it a must-see.
And that's
surely on the basis of the hell's happening.
Yeah,
that's kind of the tantalising nature of these things that never came out, is even if they end up being shit, like the fact that it's that promise of something potentially great that we never got to see.
Your imagination fills out the gaps.
Yes.
Because you can be given a sort of fairly bare bones elevator pitch of what this thing could be.
Yes.
And you, with the kind of breadth and infinity of your imagination, can expand on that and dream up something that's potentially quite spectacular, which may not ever be in the realms of possibility, realistically possible, but it becomes this kind of sort of exercise in fantasy, which I thought was an interesting tangent for you to go on last time I asked.
The what if comic of the soul.
Quite.
Like, for example, the Green Lantern movie that never happened, that was meant to, with Jack Black in the lead role.
I'm sorry, tell me about this.
So, a Green Lantern film was pitched in the mid-2000s.
Yeah.
I believe Black was involved in the writing. I don't think he pitched it, but he was asked on board once he was pitched as the actor who would be in it. A Green Lantern movie where who's the alien who gives Hal Jordan the ring?
Abin Sur.
So it's an Abin Sur-esque figure lands on Earth,
Was
lands on
he
Earth.
played by Kyle Gass?
No, but that would have been amazing. Mistakenly gives the ring to the wrong person. Like, he obviously crashes knowing that he's going to give it to someone noble and true and with a strong will who could take up the mantle of the Lantern, but gives it to the wrong dude. And
gives it to not the real guy, just a tribute.
That's been the episode, guys. It's not going to get better than that, to be honest. That was smooth. We'll see you all in the future.
You set him up and knock him down.
Just like a film pitch that doesn't get picked up.
That's fascinating.
And the finale was going to include various DC characters in imagined green, corporeal and Warner Brothers Looney Tunes-esque characters in a final battle sort of thing. They would be the weapons he uses, because that was the stuff that he knew. And rock music was going to play a big part in it, like album cover artwork was going to play a thing in it.
It was.
So proper sort of metal, Iron Maiden metal album covers just coming.
I can dig it.
The cover of was it Trooper or whatever comes to life and tramples over the villain.
Eddie just comes in, just absolutely just clearing house. That'd be amazing.
So very very specific one person Ready Player One.
But with Jack Black in the lead.
Yeah.
So Shallow Hal Jordan.
That's it for this week, ladies and gentlemen. Honestly, it's not going to get better than that. We'll see you next week for Big Damn Quaid.
Oh, very good.
Shallow Hal Jordan.
So
oh
this,
my god.
So this, in terms of like the
I'm going to try and find this
the landscape that this film was being pitched in. So mid 2000s. So we've had two Spider-Mans. A Batman reboot, or just about to be a Batman reboot in the form of Batman but the
Begins.
MCU and all that sort of stuff hadn't quite kicked off yet.
We were in the heyday of, look at all these superhero movies that you're going to be ashamed of one day.
Right, okay.
Like Elektra.
Right,
Yeah.
okay. So in terms of that, even more so, having that kind of sort of weird send-up of that kind of superhero film with having the wrong guy gets given this sort of God-given ability.
That could work now, really.
Yeah,
well.
it sounds like what Shazam might end up being.
Yeah, there's a similar kind of
this
thing
kind
of you really shouldn't be in charge of
Yeah,
this sort of
yeah,
power,
yeah.
but you've got it, and let's see what happens. So I like the Tick in a way.
Yes,
like the idea of like, are you sure this is the person to be doing this?
Yeah.
Season 2, that's coming out really soon. I'm very excited for it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Very Germany. So excited, I might say, Matthew, levitate that beer toward me. Ooh. But please behind me the bit. I can't get up because I'm large.
So
Theatre of the Mind.
Theatre of the mind for the viewer of the soul.
Green Lantern didn't turn out well, even when they got other people involved. Like, so we didn't really.
In the words of Ryan Reynolds in 2009's Green Lantern.
I know, right?
2011.
Right?
Oh, 2011. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
we're in a post-Dark Knight world when that piece of shit was released.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But Mark Strong.
Mark Strong.
Oh my god, Mark Strong's played 3 supervillains.
Yes.
Kick-Ass.
Well,
Yeah, Kick. Well, he's not super
villains in comic book movies, not necessarily supervillains. I wouldn't call the guy in Kick-Ass a supervillain.
Well, he's the main villain of the book. He's played Arch Nemesis. Well, even then, I suppose.
And Sinestro wasn't a supervillain in Green Lantern.
He became one in the post-credits for a sequel that definitely was going to happen, guys. Anyone?
Fingers crossed.
That was supposed to be the beginning of the DCEU. The DC Cinematic Universe was Green Lantern.
And the tag was Sinestro.
Yeah. That's why they introduced things like Amanda Waller.
Of course.
To sort of build a wider universe.
Oh, wait, is she in that? I've never seen Green Lantern.
We've seen it. We have seen it.
Have we?
We've sat down and watched it on Amazon Prime back when we were living in Stockholm.
Have I just completely excised it from my brain?
It's not that you've excised it from your brain, it's that it's almost entirely forgettable.
Your brain has made room for better
It's not
things.
even that it's... I mean, it's bad, but it's not even that it's so terribly bad it sticks in your brain. It's so bad it just sort of passes out the other end of it.
I guess it must. I genuinely have no recollection of ever having watched that film.
It's not very good.
I watched the last 45 minutes in a hotel room in California because we'd come from Universal, really heavy morning. Lou was knackered, had a nap. I didn't feel sleepy. It was just channel hopping. We saw this and went, this can't be that bad. And then by the credits roll, I was like, this is...
And also,
terrible.
You do seem to like to self-flagellate with your entertainment.
I do a bit.
That is something that
Don't we all?
Well,
all 3 of us have been guilty of that.
Sometimes
together.
You guys used to ritualistically...
Hey, stop flirting with me.
You guys used to ritualistically do it.
Put down that copy of Season of the Witch.
I feel like
one of you was Paul Bettany and the other was a cat of nine tails. You ritualistically do this to yourselves.
The kind of foundations of our friendship, I feel, were forged
on terrible films.
in the fires of
forged in
garbage movies.
Garbage movies in Game of Thrones.
Yes. One palate cleansed the other.
Yeah.
Which did which? Who knows? Who's to say?
Who
can say?
Which brings us back to New Mutants.
Quite. No, New Mutants isn't happening. But it's not the...
Well...
There was another big team movie that... we've talked about this before. That
we touched on this, I think, in response to your...
because it's the one that immediately comes to mind when you think of, particularly comic book movies, that were almost made. And that's George Miller's Justice League.
Yes.
Justice League Mortal.
Yeah.
They were about to shoot it.
Well,
it was cast.
On the
sets
cusp.
were built. Costumes were done. They'd done test photos. There are test photos of the actors in costume.
Blurry as hell test
around
photos, which makes it look really bad because they're obviously not lit and edited the way that they would be for release.
They pulled it.
Yeah.
They just pulled it.
Because what was I don't suppose they need to give any reasons, do they? Because it's not as if this is on the slate, this has a release date, so we have to go, we as Warner Brothers have to get out in front of it and say, oh, this is... blah blah blah. It didn't make it so they didn't. Is there a publicly said reason as to why it died?
It was the writer's strike.
Okay.
It was about to roll. The writer's strike happened, delayed the production. And then it just kept delaying it to the point where, basically,
Killing it softly.
Warner Brothers killed it off because what happened around the same time was The Dark Knight came out.
That will be the nail, really. Won't it?
And
Which is interesting because this
went,
shows that they were open to multiverses at the time.
because
like,
Armie Hammer was Batman in this.
But this is very much a pre-Armie Hammer.
Yeah.
It's a
before Social Network, before...
Yes.
Yeah,
Army Gavel.
yes.
Yeah,
but literally,
yeah.
because people did think
Cadet
he was
Hammer.
twins when that film came out, 2-3 years later.
Yeah.
So he was not hardly a big name.
No.
Yeah, this was the pre-Army Hammer.
Despite the fact that he possibly has the best superhero name.
that is a name.
He's got a ready-built superhero name.
That is a name.
Hammer. The U.S. military's greatest superhuman.
We had a hell of a fucking cast. We had DJ Catrona was Superman, Armie Hammer was Batman, Megan Gale was Wonder Woman, Common was the John Stewart Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. I like Common.
Adam Brody was the Flash.
I like Adam Brody.
Jay Baruchel was the lead villain, Maxwell Lord.
Which is interesting because I was like, wouldn't he be too young for
Jay
Maxwell
Brody, because
Lord?
isn't he
But-
he's about 35 now, isn't he?
Yeah, but you do like a sort of up and come, because even then, the up and come on Silicon Valley tech nerd thing was a thing. So it would have been probably.
Oh my
closer
god,
to the-
Warner Brothers have always been fixated on doing a younger, dorky version of big villains.
Yeah, so it would have been a sort of.
Oh shit!
Batman v Superman
Yeah.
Lex Luthor thing, probably.
That's
probably.
terrible. That's a thing they've held on to for 8+ years.
Hugh Keith Byrne, who is Immortan Joe in Fury Road.
Yeah.
Rumours are he was Martian Manhunter, but I don't know if that was ever confirmed. Because I don't think there are any...
Manhunter is in that leaked photo, but you can't see properly who it is. Yeah.
So they think that was Martian Manhunter. But yeah, it was so close. But then it came out. The writer's strike came along. They pushed it back to July 2008.
To deal with all that shit.
Then Dark Knight came out, and they basically just buried it. Because they decided they wanted to do... Because also...
More like this.
Iron Man had just come out. And Marvel started talking about their idea to do the Avengers. So Warner Brothers then went, yeah, maybe we should do this as individual films.
Because that's the thing, you have to remember that before Avengers, the idea of having a series of single films culminating in a group team-up thing was just such new ground.
It had never been done.
Never been done before. Certainly not in that way.
No.
There'd been
And
crossovers, but
shared
they'd never
universes had happened in film before.
Universal Monsters / Abbott and Costello films, like they were all in the same.
Not in that
world.
sort of building up this
View
long
askew
form narrative over.
The closest thing to it was Jane and Silent Bob
Dozens
Strike
of
Back
films.
because several characters from the previous films were
Yeah.
in the same
And
film.
that was
but it was
sort
never
of a-
like a
But
big
that's
team up with a story.
that's almost like paying lip service to stuff that's already happened. Whereas this was like Iron Man leading into whatever was Thor, leading into Captain America. All of them.
We're going to get you to like these 4 characters. Then
Yeah.
We're going to throw 2 more in along the way, and you're going to be fucking excited to see them all in a film together.
It's and so the idea of having Justice League, it wasn't Justice League Dark, was it?
Justice League Dark.
That was the Guillermo
We'll
del
get
Toro
to
thing.
Justice League Dark.
That's later.
Justice League Mortal. It was
Just having them all grouped together like that.
Yeah.
Like that's not necessarily what was DC doing, spunking their load like that. But then
that's
when Dark Knight comes out and literally makes $1.5 billion.
they were doing this at the same time as the Dark Knight. It was shooting.
You think because they're presumably people have been kept on retainer, and crews are having to kind of be on standby, and so that must have just been costing, just burning money.
Which is why they eventually pulled the plug.
So I mean, I can kind of see why I wouldn't see the light of day, but I would like to see a version of it.
Oh
Like,
go to DC Animated.
Yeah,
like have a word with George Miller,
take
get
the
that script
to
thingy,
DC Animated. And
it will be a version of it, like most of the DC Animated originals have been for the last 5 years. But it'll still be cool to see.
Have room to
version of
dream.
it.
What if it wasn't meh? What if it was good?
Yeah, well, I think that script's floating around online. A lot of the scripts for the films we're going to talk about here are floating around online.
I bet it was a lighter tone, and that's why they can. That was
from
one of the final nails.
From the things you see of it, yeah, it looks like it was probably
because the lesson that Warner
It's got
Brothers
Martian Manhunter in it, so he's like inherently a bit dorky.
That's true.
But lessons
That's
that other studios learned and Warner Brothers learned. from Dark Knight's success was, we've got to make it all dark and gritty, which is why Man of Steel was as grounded as it was, despite being about a shiny alien boy in red underpants.
Well, being grounded because it's a film about a guy who literally is not grounded. Who literally is flying around all over the place.
But he's also Jesus. But he's also relatable. But he's Jesus, guys. Guys, he's Jesus.
Let's ground this concept that we've got about a flying superhero. Like, come the fuck on.
Yeah, a bumpkin alien who can fly.
I know, right? And I think they're starting to get that.
Yes, Shazam definitely.
Based on what? Oh, Shazam, like, you mean?
The early impressions of Shazam, we haven't seen it yet.
As of the recording of this episode.
Very positive. Aquaman was a mess, but a very fun mess.
Yeah.
Because it didn't take itself very seriously.
And was colourful and bright and just silly.
And of course, Aquaman was the beautiful equivalent of having keys dangled in front of your face.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
And of course, there are people out there going,
there's no substance to this, but I'm having fun.
Well, it's just leading to the homogenization of the genre. I was like, well, there's a reason that those kinds of approaches to the material work and other approaches to the material don't work as well, if at all. And it's because that's what the material lends itself to.
Yeah.
It's not that you can't take a different approach. It's that you have to be very... It takes a special kind of voice for a different approach to work. Not the kind of voice that someone like Zack Snyder has.
Yeah, because they're thinking...
Wake the fuck up, guys. Batman kills people. Okay,
well,
alright, Zack.
It doesn't... I don't think that inherently that would have had to have been a negative. Because I think... Because, like, say, if you take Adam West and you take Michael Keaton, like, they're playing the same character.
Yeah.
But the approach to it in both cases are so different. But the thing is, they're both consistent within the worlds that they live in.
Yes.
So and you can't argue that they're not true to the source material as well.
Exactly. Yeah. But so you've got this sort of operatic gothic version of the city and the tone in the Tim Burton stuff, and then you've got this kapow, bang, crash, wallop campiness.
We're having an absolute ball. This is so much fun.
And like very like wink, wink, nudge, nudge to the camera almost. And so if you were to have a Batman that was that his sort of the golden rule of his, just in this version, he doesn't have it. He kills. Yeah. He's a bat. He's a giant man bat.
It's not that he can't kill.
It's that he shouldn't. That shouldn't be option one.
But also that if he does kill, then he deals with the consequences.
Yeah, exactly.
Cavalier.
And he's not just ploughing through people on a dock in his tank.
It's the important thing is less about.
Even Arkham Knight gave it a weird electric thing so that people zapped away from it to try and get around it in the open world game. He hasn't killed them; he's just shot them away.
Exactly, and the point is less about Batman having a rule and more about the world that Batman lives in having the rule.
And I think what we've seen with
the consistency that matters.
The reason that a lot of those DC movies recently haven't worked is because they just don't have that tonal.
No, there's no consistency at all,
or logic of any kind.
Yeah,
it's
like why are people doing these things? No, none of it makes sense. Why does this thing here? What does this do? Why? What
What if Superman flew through the White House, kidnapped the president? It's okay, we'll send this crazy woman with a baseball bat to fight him.
Brilliant.
Remember
good.
I remember how good Suicide Squad was.
Oh, God, woof. I watched about... Because I've finally dived in on Amazon Prime and it was there, just staring.
Is it on Prime now?
Pink
that makes me morbidly curious enough to revisit it.
It's not good.
I watched the first 5 minutes of it.
I saw it twice.
Got beyond Margot Robbie's first scene. I thought, okay, she's good. Like I'm not.
Margot Robbie's fine in it. Yeah, Will Smith's fine in it. Most of the people are fine in it.
But then it got to basically just the turgid sitting around the table stuff with Amanda Waller and
David Harbour
remaking the previous scene where she talks to just two of them. And it's the same scene, but this time with the Enchantress backstory.
Yeah, and I just. Knowing the kind of baggage the whole rest of the film was coming with, I was like, I don't think I can sit through this.
It is not good.
I talking about diminishing returns. Like, I think the more I watch this, the less I'm gonna get out of it. I've got everything I need at this point.
It's
terrible,
fucking terrible.
The reason I saw it a second time was because I was trying to describe to Lucy how terrible it was. Because we'd seen it on, I think we saw it at midnight.
We saw it at midnight.
It's on midnight screening, you
because
guys.
We wanted to get it on the podcast as soon as possible.
Because I think at the midnight screening was like the Wednesday night. We recorded it the Thursday morning. It was up Thursday night.
Oh, you guys.
Yeah, we suffered.
didn't do that again.
We
The
suffered.
the things you do for these people.
I know, right?
But I was trying to describe to Lou, like, no, seriously, it's fascinatingly bad. Like, this is
just-
terrible, and this is kind of great, but then they do this, and it ruins all of it. And I was just like, just come with me. You're free tomorrow night. He's just like, yeah. I was like, just come. We've got to watch it. And then we came out. She went, thank you for taking me. How fucking dare you? And I was like, great.
That would be
cheers.
grounds for divorce.
We were married at that point.
Good, yeah.
That should have been the warning sign.
Well, yeah, grounds
Good
for.
job.
The very same month I took her to Ghostbusters, which we kind of dug, and she came out and she went, that was a
Ghostbusters
piece
is
of shit.
fine.
Why did you
Like,
take me into
I've
that?
watched it. I've watched it again since I've revisited it. It's fine. It's.
Oh, wait, did you watch the home video version? The home release with the extra scenes?
Oh, they're different.
No, I've watched.
There's
I've
like an
watched
additional 20 minutes.
The
Including a bit where they show an interpretive dance they did in school to explain the barrier between the living and the dead.
God, I watched
The My Cat sequence is about 5 minutes longer.
Oh fuck me!
The dance sequence is put back into it and slows the movie.
No, I've not seen that. Version.
Oh, good lord! It will make you go, yeah, I'm not defending this film ever again.
No.
Oh dear.
Well, that was the problem with that movie, was they just didn't edit anything out,
There's
or
another
not enough of it.
There's another project that never came to be. Yeah, it's survived a million times in various stages.
Ghostbusters
3.
Yeah,
Which is back on the slate, I think.
But
in a
a
very, very different form.
This is an
There
Aykroyd
were
film.
plans floating around for a Ghostbusters 3 with the original cast.
Yeah,
Yes.
with Dan Aykroyd having written a version of it for
But
ages.
then kind of got sort of softly told, as far as I understand, in the video game adaptation. Which somehow managed to...
That adapted some ideas from the earliest screenplay, which was Ghostbusters. I think it was called Ghostbusters in Hell, and then at some point it was renamed Ghostbusters Go to Hell, which was Dan Aykroyd's version of the third one, where essentially it was, we've done ghosts in the real world, let's take them into a place where it's everything around them. So it's going to be like fucked up horror style locations and this, that, and the other.
Right.
Versions of scenes from that screenplay made their way into Ghostbusters the video game.
Okay.
Which was written by someone else, but Aykroyd and Ramis had to give it approval, and they read it and went, this is great, put some of this in it and put some of that in it.
Oh, nice. Okay, so they gave kind of blessing as well as material.
They gave it the thumbs up and said they loved it. And then I guess Bill Murray was convinced to take part because it was probably,
somehow they got Bill Murray on board.
it was probably because it was, look, it's going to be 3
That's the tricky
days.
bit, isn't it?
It's going to be 3 days. Here's like an extra. He probably read it and went, all right, that's kind of funny. Go on, okay.
We'll come
3
to you,
days in the voice booth.
We'll
I'll
just
do
stick
it.
a microphone in front of you.
And it's weird. His delivery in it is halfway between, and then just occasionally that's sharp. He enjoyed that line, like he dug that line, but it doesn't drag the game down. And I think it's because the other three and oh god, who else is in it? Annie Potts is in it,
Yeah, Annie Potts
and William Atherton's in it as Walter Peck. Smart decision to bring Walter Peck back, and also Max von Sydow
Yes,
as Vigo. Because the Vigo portrait's just in the lobby of the firehouse, and if you walk up to it, you can interact with it. And he's saying things, yeah, and he's saying things like he'll have his revenge, the earth will burn in flame, and then eventually he starts saying things like, "Someone brought donuts. They smell incredible. Could you bring one closer to me?" Because obviously after a while he's just done postulating because there's not much more.
What could we
say.
get Max von Sydow to say?
It's brilliant. Like, just the idea that Vigo's become like, oh, I'm sort of bored now. Because he's just stuck there in this painting.
he is Vigo!
And Frank Welker did Slimer's sound effects after having done it with the cartoons
Because
and
of course
everything.
it's fucking Frank Welker.
And that's great. And you play as a new character who's literally just named Rookie and doesn't have any lines. So he obviously was a new addition for this.
No silent protagonist as well, though, so you can kind of project
which
yourself
they joke
into
about.
it. Yeah.
So you don't talk very much, do you?
But
that was the closest we got to a version of the film and various versions of the films they were touting for years. Rumour had it that one of the later drafts, like right up to the wire of Amy Pascal commissioning Paul Feig to give a take on it, which led to the reboot. One of the latest drafts was sent to Bill Murray, and he's never confirmed it, and Dan Aykroyd has never confirmed it. But the story is that Bill Murray shredded the script and mailed it back to Aykroyd.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, not because he disliked it, but because he was just saying, no way.
I don't want to do it.
I mean,
Hey Bill, do you want to do 2 days on the reboot? You don't have to do anything except sit down. Okay.
I feel like my character be sat down in this. Yep, done. Point and shoot.
I only did it because I knew these girls were funny.
As someone, because I enjoyed both Ghostbusters films. Well, sorry, both of the kind of original Ghostbusters films,
because they're basically the same film.
They come out.
Saving that day.
I've never really been scrambling for a third. I feel like I got what I needed out of those two. It's not something that's like, oh, when are they going to give me more? When are they going to? Because they gave me more when they did the second one, because they did the same thing again.
And like, if you're really desperate for more of like versions of those characters, just go watch the real Ghostbusters. It's all on Netflix.
Or I would recommend. I'd push
play the game
before that. Play the video game.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the time thingy for that, pick up the IDW comic. Because it's set.
That probably takes longer than playing the video game.
Oh no, it's great though.
You've done in like 3 hours or something. Like video game. It's short, isn't it?
But the IDW comic's set between. No, it's set after the second one. And again, it's just great. It captures the voices of them all wonderfully, and they're all sorted and sound like they should do. Feel like they should do. And the art is beautiful and gorgeous and cartoony and embraces the extremeness of the designs. And then later on, there are crossover events with the real Ghostbusters universe. And like what stand up, like not in the main books. If you just follow the main book, you don't get any of this. There's nods to that in the main series. There's a character that Janine fancies who is basically Egon from the real Ghostbusters. Like the way the character's designed is the same with the cornetto bloody fab lolly hair or whatever.
Yeah, the
swirled quiff.
The guy in Fifth Element, like that kind of weird thing for his head. Like a unicorn horn of hair.
But then there was separately a couple of series they did a crossover with real Ghostbusters. Well, the idea being just a different universe, but they use that design and that universe as the template. And then they've done one since where it crossed over with the 2016 version. So if you want to get off on that shit, that exists.
There's apparently plenty for you to get your teeth in. Who knew?
Now, we're getting a Ghostbusters 3 of sorts in the future, but ain't the ones that were cancelled. Hence the topic.
Yes.
Matt, what's in your palm?
Well...
Don't say your penis. Don't say your penis. Don't say
we
your
talked
penis.
about... we didn't talk about penis.
We
talked about Justice League.
Yes.
There's been many cancelled Justice League projects.
Yes.
One of them most recently being Guillermo del Toro's Justice League Dark.
Christ alive.
As I mistakenly alluded to earlier.
Yes.
Give Guillermo all the things.
But yes, the list of projects that Guillermo del Toro has had that have just fallen through for whatever reason is large.
It's lengthy.
It's longer than the fishman's penis.
It's famously long.
I don't think the fishman's penis is that long.
Well,
if you take it as it's as long as Sally Hawkins' finger when she does that thing.
Sally Hawkins does have quite long fingers.
I suppose. But
and it is retractable, which would imply that it's too big to have out of the body.
Yeah,
and also fish reproduce asexually. Don't they?
Not this guy.
You just jizz into the water and she'd have to swim through it.
Not in the shape of water.
I don't know how that works.
Have you not seen the shape of water?
I have not.
Oh, mate, it's very good.
It's this beautiful romance.
It is beautiful.
Oh, well, I like
with
seeing
a horror
Doug Jones being skinny, wearing weird stuff.
He's incredible.
He's wonderful.
I like seeing Sally Hawkins doing things.
Oh, she's so good in there.
But there's one bit where her friend just straight up sort of asks her, like, does he have a... And she's sort of...
She does a little... Because her character's deaf mute.
Is she?
So she does a little...
Everyone communicates.
No, she's not deaf, she's mute.
Everyone still communicates with signs.
Yeah,
sort of
she communicates with signs.
of it, yeah.
She does a little mime, and it's like...
She sort of goes...
his crotch and then pokes her out and then like
I mean you can't see what he's doing with his handset, but
it's just look it up.
It's weirdly graphic.
But when she does it, it's really great. Sweet and adorable. It's like,
it's very good.
They're having boy talk about the fish man.
Well, everything that you've recommended to me on this show before, because what
have we recommended you?
You've recommended Moana, Coco,
great.
I think Trainspotting
exclusively
2,
Disney films from the last 5 years.
Someone, I think it was maybe Tom Monty recommended Trainspotting 2, which I eventually got around to. So everything that I've picked up as a recommendation from this show, whether from you or from your listeners,
the fact that Shape of Water is a genre, is like an unapologetic genre movie and still won Best Picture.
Yes,
is that says something about how fucking good it is.
Okay,
it's a love story that just happens to involve a mutant fishman.
Yeah,
it happens.
And Michael Shannon being so good as an antagonist. He's amazing.
How
in that
yelly
film.
and weird do his eyes look?
His eyes do
it's one of
yell.
those, he goes on a journey, he gets yellier and weirder
Yep.
as
okay.
it goes on.
Sounds like a Michael Shannon film.
Oh yeah. Prime Michael Shannon. But Del Toro.
Michael Shannon under pressure.
Del
from
Toro
higher
has
ups.
worked on so many things because he's one of those people who loves stuff. Like he loves a lot of like pre-existing stories, cartoons, comics, anime, all that kind of stuff. So he's always looking to adapt stuff
Or help produce adaptations.
thereof. They've nearly all fallen through.
His success rate is not.
It's not good,
high, is it?
Which is a shame because he's a fucking great filmmaker.
Because in terms of his actual adaptations of existing stuff that he's managed to get off the ground,
Hellboy,
so Hellboy, he
Hellboy
jumped in
2.
on Blade 2,
Blade 2. But
which was kind of already ongoing.
Hellboy and Hellboy 2 and Blade 2 are adaptations of concepts and characters rather than specific stories.
Yeah,
And what are you saying that he does more
he took the stuff out the toy box and then played with them.
Whereas
his
he's
own way.
looking to do like adaptations of specific stories.
Well, like
I
he's
see.
producing Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark,
Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark,
which comes
is
out this summer,
an anthology film which
based on the American Kids book that traumatized a generation in the late 80s
Is that
because the
right?
illustrations were horrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the trailers look fucking great.
The films are very much aimed at older kids who can stomach it and kids and 20-somethings who grew up reading the books.
So,
It's like if the Goosebumps movie had been made in the style of that Goosebumps show that was at the Vaults a few years ago, where it was like, this is aimed at adults who read the books. It's like, okay. So like that's him going, I love that, we're going to adapt it, I'll produce it, we'll put it out. So
I wonder
that kind of works.
Why is a guy who sort of he's got the chops, he's got
Clearly.
a really good
he's a fucking award winner.
he's an Academy Award
his
winner.
work ethic is incredible because a lot of these projects have finished scripts that he either commissioned and oversaw or co-wrote.
Yeah.
Why then does he keep kind of walking into shut doors like that? Like what?
Because Hollywood's shit.
What is?
I don't know.
Because like
I do not know.
Is he just? I don't know. Does he budget really badly?
I
Are they
think it
really
depends on the-
expensive?
I think it depends on the project.
Deadpool's amazing. Let's make
I
more
think-
R-rated comic films. No, that's not what the message of Deadpool was. That's not what the
I think
that's Hollywood at the minute. It
Yeah.
takes the wrong lessons.
so. I think it's also a case of just him being in the wrong place at the wrong time. So he could have done Blade 3, but
Yes.
ended up leaving to direct Hellboy,
Fair enough.
which
Fair
is
swap.
a better choice for him. Turned Blade 3 to a fucking mess.
But gave us an amazing Patton Oswalt routine.
That's very true.
So there's that.
Yeah, I don't think even. I mean, with Blade 3 as it was, I don't think even Guillermo del Toro could have saved that.
He could have directed Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Now that
Ooh.
would have given him some clout,
Yeah.
but decided to direct Hellboy instead.
Yes, but then it also that opened the door for
Alfonso
Armando. Oh, was it Alfonso Cuarón? Was it?
Yeah.
Alfonso Cuarón,
So,
who then
you
set
know.
the tone of those movies going
And
forward.
then made the best one of the lot, I think.
Set the bar and then went, right, you do with my stuff what you want from now on.
Came
I'm
to
done
David
it.
Yates, wasn't it, from then on?
There was one more director before David Yates took over for Order of the Phoenix onwards, and they've got less imaginative looking as they've
He
got on.
could have
It's the same
directed
formula now.
I Am Legend,
Right.
Was
but
that the
chose
original?
to direct Hellboy 2 instead.
Was that when it was still going to? Was that when it was going to star
It wasn't.
Clint Eastwood?
No, it was still in 2005.
Clint Eastwood he's about 85, wasn't it? That film
There,
came out.
there was a version of I Am Legend where
Clint Eastwood has been 85 since 85.
Clint
Yeah.
Eastwood was in the title role, and Johnny Depp was the main vampire zombie thing.
Yeah.
Because
I don't like that.
that's closer to the source material, and like the
yeah.
guy's an older, grizzled guy, and the creatures are more sentient.
He was attached to direct the Halo movie.
Shit!
Oh well, yeah, because that's been
A
some
Guillermo
form
del
of
Toro Halo
pre-production
movie.
since 2005.
And I bet that'll be because he played some. It was just like,
Yes.
I like this, I'd like to make it.
Pretty much. But unfortunately, it clashed with another upcoming project he had,
Was it The Hobbit by any chance?
which was The Hobbit.
Yeah.
Of course.
And he got stuck on The Hobbit for so long.
Yeah.
2 years in pre-production in New Zealand. So no wonder he couldn't get anything off the ground for a while.
That I have to say that the saga, the never-ending saga of Guillermo del Toro's relationship with The Hobbit is so tragic, because not only as a creator and a filmmaker. He's pouring time and effort and money, presumably, into realizing this thing.
Yeah.
Only for one, it to be taken out of your hands, which must have been a huge disappointment. Two, you're then thinking of all the things that you could have otherwise been doing.
Yeah.
And three, the film then gets made, and it is just an unmitigated disaster. It is so bad.
I can't think of many positives about what eventually came out of The Hobbit.
I liked
my three favourite.
I like Martin Freeman.
Yeah, his interpretation of Bilbo is definitely more interesting than a cut and paste from the book would have been.
Good. The script is...
Would he have to wrap his lips around?
Is just not.
My three favourite scenes from the book were good, but they were over by the end of film 2, and as such, I didn't go to see film 3.
I didn't see
and then
film
watched
3
it on
either.
Netflix a few years later.
I still haven't seen film 3.
I said I didn't see film 2 and 3 until they came out on Netflix, and they were two sitting jobs. Easy.
I
couldn't get through one of those in one sitting.
You've got to have an intermission.
I just wanted to see Riddles in the Dark, the Mirkwood Spiders, and the first encounter with Smaug, and they were all over by 40 minutes before the end of movie 2. So I was like, yep, that was cool.
Right.
That was a cool live action / CGI version of the scenes I've had in my head since I was 10. I'm done now.
But it's just mad because you think if anyone's going to take the reins, Philippa Lloyd, not Philippa Lloyd, is it Philippa Lloyd?
Or Philippa Boyd.
Philippa Boyd. And Peter Jackson, that you think, oh, well, duh. Like, these guys know what they're doing. They've done this before.
He was super excited about it.
But
I remember the announcement photos in like 2008 or whatever of like Guillermo del Toro and Peter Jackson sat in an office giving thumbs up to a camera and looking really happy. Like, we're making this. It's going to be awesome. Guillermo's taking over. I'm producing. It's going to be great.
He fucking moved to New Zealand for 2 years and worked on pre-production for that film, which then all got scrapped when Peter Jackson came
actually,
on.
I can tell you a positive. Having visited New Zealand since the films came out, I went to Hobbiton.
Yeah.
The set that they built, which they then became a permanent attraction.
Yes.
After the Lord of the Rings, which they then used partly for the Hobbit filming.
Yeah, yeah.
And wandering around there was fun.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it also fucked the New Zealand film industry.
Yes, as documented quite
Lindsay Ellis's
comprehensively by Lindsay Ellis.
Series
her 2-part series in 3 episodes.
Yes.
Which is genius. That they're still to this day called part 1 of 2, part 2 of 2, and then the third one's just
part
there.
3 of 2.
Yeah.
It's beautifully done.
That's worth digging into just to see how much of a mess that whole production was.
The ripple effect of that film was not only the world got a bad film, it was
New Zealand
lots of
film
people were
industry and
affected
tax
quite
industry,
badly.
It fucked the New Zealand film industry. It fucked Guillermo del Toro's upcoming projects up for the next couple of years. It fucked Peter Jackson's career up for about 7-8 years.
Dude looked depressed.
Oh man, I'm surprised I didn't just completely fucking break him.
Ian McKellen famously broke down in tears midway through filming because just the process of making it was such that midway through a take he breaks down in tears and says, "This is not why I became an actor."
No.
A man in his mid-70s.
Yeah, it's
being driven to tears by the process of making these films.
It was one of those days where it was just like in a green room with
another green screen, and
he was talking to a character that wasn't there, who was physically there, but they weren't filming the conversation because they needed for like height references, and he was just because at least the trilogy is as practical as can be.
The trilogy being the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Yeah. There's
the
only
Hobbit
one.
The Hobbit is unfortunately a trilogy.
Only
as well.
one returns, son, and it ain't to the king, to the fucking Jedi.
No.
But those films are as real as can be.
In
terms of as an actor, you have so much to play with, so much stimuli. It's all there, and you can react to it. And every now and again, you have a funny shot set up that's almost a bit weird. I'm having to talk to you while you're on a box. But then you get on with it and you do it. And then The Hobbit is just you see a glimpse of those sets in the Five-ish Doctors.
Yeah.
Where Sylvester McCoy's buggered off set and Peter Jackson's calling him, trying to get hold of him, and it cuts to him asking Ian where Sylvester is, and he's like, Ian McKellen's like, who? And he's like, the funny fella, bird shit. And he goes, oh, I mean, if anything without him, I'd think the scene would be an improvement. It's just like a funny little insert. But even that, it's just like some stairs up to a cavern. And there's just a big green room. And you're like,
Yeah. Well, because that's another thing as well that
McKellen's no stranger to blockbusters and special
No,
effects.
not anymore,
but,
yeah.
You know.
But the thing is that all of that stuff looked crap as well.
Because
Didn't help with the bloody frame rate.
So much of Lord of the Rings holds up.
Yeah.
Because it was all
incredibly
practical.
well. Yeah.
As much of it as possible was
A
practical.
lot of it was in camera, yeah.
But because they had to redo the production design essentially on the fly for The Hobbit, because they had to scrap all the stuff they'd done with Del Toro, so 2 years worth of pre-production goes down the fucking drain.
Like careful, meticulous planning.
Yeah.
Then it's like, oh, now we're doing it by the seat of our pants.
So, and midway through production, they're like, "Oh, actually, we've got to make it into 3 films, not 2," which I fucking guarantee was a Warner Brothers thing.
Oh, of course.
And
Because then you've got three consecutive Christmases worth of box office,
exactly,
as opposed to 2. You know.
and then they've got to not only rewrite the film on the fly, but do the production design on the fly and build the sets on the fly, and not know what they're going to do from.
Well, they had Andy Serkis directing the second unit. A man who at that point had never directed before. It's like,
I mean, he's not necessarily capable, but he's not proven.
No.
Yeah, it was a big bloody ass.
Yeah.
It was like going into a big board meeting to secure your company's future and just suddenly turning into the guy running reception in that building and going, "Hey, do you mind filling in for me?"
Yeah.
It's like he can use words and he's good with people, but he's now in charge of the future of your company.
Yeah, he knows
It's not the sensible play.
He knows how to use a motion capture suit pretty well.
So, because of The Hobbit, which has now dominated our minds for 10 minutes,
yes,
we're so angry about it.
Del Toro lost
Let's get
out
angrier.
Fucking hell.
What amongst films in that period did Del Toro not get to make or is now in limbo?
After The Hobbit,
yes,
Del Toro announced that he's
one of these
to direct.
makes me really sad.
This was in 2010.
Yeah,
he wanted to direct a film adaptation of H.P. Lovecraft's At the Mountains of Madness.
Yeah,
for Universal. James Cameron producing.
Good, keep him away from the director's chair.
He wanted to get Tom Cruise for the lead.
Okay,
and he wanted to do it in 3D.
Okay,
fair enough. I mean, Lovecraftian imagery in 3D. Okay, fair enough.
Because this would have been like Life of Pi, Gravity, cool 3D before. You know, that very, very small window where 3D was actually pretty good.
The gimmick had washed off slightly. It was now a case of, someone's done something really interesting with it. Before it then just becomes, there's a 3D option in the cinema as well if you want.
Yeah. And then, not long after, he turned around and said, I quote, "It doesn't look like I can do it. It's very difficult for the studio to take the step of doing a period set, R-rated, tentpole movie with a tough ending and no love story."
Very candid then.
Yeah.
It's like, these are the things that they want.
This has not got the things for a studio to put the money into.
It's a thinly veiled way of going, Universal really don't have much in the way of a spine.
But Universal did greenlight it.
Well, yeah, of course they greenlit it, because they were like, he's the Hellboy guy, and he's great, and we'll do that, and this will be really good, and he wants to do that, brilliant. And then they get to the stage.
But did they greenlight the film, or did they commission a script?
They greenlit the film.
They greenlit the whole film.
And then pre-pro would have begun. Some people would have looked at it and gone, "Oh no, this isn't what we want." Or do this to it, and he's gone,
No,
that
wasn't what killed it.
Oh,
you know what killed it?
The radio star.
Tom Cruise being weird on Oprah would have been about that time.
Cthulhu showed up at the door and was like, "I haven't authorised my likeness."
Prometheus.
What?
Huh?
Because
what have they got to do with each other?
Prometheus came out, and it's basically At the Mountains of Madness in space.
Oh, the similarities of like the creation of man and that shit.
No, it's science team exploring previously unexplored territory in an inhospitable land, and they stumble across the remnants of an ancient civilization, which brings forth terrible, horrible things that they have to escape.
Most of which have tentacles and teeth.
Basically, Del Toro saw Prometheus was like, it's too similar. I can't do it.
At least not for a long time.
So, Del Toro, he then was like, I really want to do this thing, but I can't because Prometheus came out and it's basically the same thing.
but only one.
Which is a little reductive.
But only
That's
one,
fine.
yeah,
It's
only one
another
would have been
thing-
remembered.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it would have been in the madness.
I don't know. Yeah, I'd have to kind of look at the numbers because these kinds of weird filmic parallels do happen.
They happen
quite,
all the fucking time.
Quite a lot, like Volcano and Dante's,
Dante's
Peak,
Peak.
and
Armageddon Deep Impact.
Armageddon Deep Impact.
No
Like,
strings attached and
friends
just,
only.
just
Friends with
friends,
benefits.
Friends with benefits.
Like
Mirror,
these-
Mirror, and Snow White
Yeah.
and the Huntsman
Yeah.
coming out within 2 months
Yeah.
of each other.
It does happen fairly regularly, but I wonder how much of one audience gets eaten by another film, and like how if there's a 50-50 split. If I don't know,
I'll say this.
because it is a bit reductive.
White House Down and Olympus Has Fallen came out pretty much the same time.
Yes, oh my god, yeah.
White House Down didn't get a sequel, despite it being the vastly superior film. And I mean,
Though it did give us London Has
vastly
Fallen,
superior.
which as a title is hilarious in how small fry it is compared to the title of the previous one.
Olympus.
And also made me frustrated when I watched it because I was like, so can the president and his bodyguard just like get with each other, please?
We're getting a third
That's a
one.
more fascinating relationship than them just being a bit buddy. Like, I would rather it be the bodyguard, the president, and the president fall the fucking love during the siege of the White House. I would
The
be
third
happy as
film
Larry.
is Trousers Have Fallen.
Hey!
Down, hey, hey.
Full title, Trousers Have Fallen.
And then in
Ellipses.
brackets, yeah.
Down. Hey.
But then,
I'd love that.
then, there's more.
Green light it.
This one's going to upset you,
Yeah, I know.
and you know what's
Yeah,
coming.
pitch it to me. I'll see if I'll agree.
Is it something to do with that wall over there, Matt?
Yes.
Okay, just to reiterate, Charlie, if you look over that wall, there's some pictures, some framed prints of a thing that I love very deeply. Over there, there's some photographs reminiscent of that thing because they were taken at the thing. There's a little pile of 4 frames over there that contain replicas yet to be put up of 4 stretching portraits. I really like this thing that Matt's about
But
to
the
talk
thing
about.
is that if this is what we're referring to, the film of this already came out.
No, it didn't.
Yes, it did.
No, it didn't. No, it didn't. A piece of shit that
It
shares
did.
its name came out.
It was hot fucking garbage.
It was hot fucking garbage.
With Eddie Murphy at the height of his powers.
Eddie fucking Murphy.
the height of his
coming off
powers.
the back of
At
the
the height
adventures
of
of
his
Pluto Nash.
We want to make sure that Evans and Evans Realty that you're going to be happy.
Oh, we're in a haunted house. Hercules.
Hell.
Oh, just say it.
Del Toro
Yeah.
was announced
Yeah.
San Diego Comic Con, July 22nd, 2010, that he was writing and producing a new film based on Disney's The Haunted Mansion.
The little ghosts come out to socialize.
He
Let me set the scene here.
said that
Let me set the scene.
You have this as a bought track on iTunes. You're going to get copyright claim for this.
Buy the album from Disneyland.
not if we can get it out before Article 13 comes along.
Very, very good. Tell us more, Matthew, about the Haunted Mansion.
Del Toro announced he's aiming for a PG-13 rating.
Yeah, he did.
Says the movie I see in my head of Haunted Mansion is not, I believe, what everyone is imagining it to be. It's not just a regular world with a haunted mansion plopped in the middle. I really am thinking of a movie that has a heightened reality. We're not making it a comedy, we're making it scary and fun at the same time. But the scary will be scary. And he
Cool.
loves that shit. As of 2012,
Because there is a kind of minor plot around the ride.
yeah. Well, he's saying that
Is
the
it- would it
Hatbox
follow that?
Ghost is
Yeah.
going to be the main focus of the film.
Say that
Yeah.
again?
The Hatbox Ghost is going to be the main haunting of the
The
film.
Hatbox Ghost.
The animatronic that featured in opening day at Disneyland in California and then disappeared, and for years urban legends said that it disappeared because it was too scary and they took it out. And other rumours said that people have recollection of there being a Hatbox Ghost. He's holding a hatbox and his face disappears and then it reappears in the hatbox. And that was the gimmick of the animatronic. And they said
that does seem to ring a bell.
Yeah, they said that maybe people have misremembered it. It's one of those cultural phenomenons where people remember it
Oh,
existed.
God, yeah.
And then they confirmed about 5-6 years ago, yeah, it existed. Here are the original designs. And not only that, we're putting him back in the California ride because we've figured out a cool thingy to celebrate the anniversary.
When did they say they'd do that?
He's back in the California ride. He's never been in any of the others, but he's in the California
Because I know,
one.
because I used to...
And they've made tons of merch with him since.
I went to the Anaheim Disneyland a few times because I used to live in Texas.
Yeah.
And so we went up to
So
there
you
on
might
holiday.
have seen merch with him on.
Right, okay, because this
He
would have
was-
been
he was reinstalled in, like-
93, 94.
Oh yeah. He was reinstalled in like 2012,
Oh,
2013.
long
yeah.
after that. So yeah,
But he was always rumoured, so he would have been on merchandise and
I did
stuff.
see him, and he's a real ghost.
Well, that's what Del Toro had in mind.
Yeah, and this was 2010 he announced this.
2012, he handed in his final draft.
Yeah, at Comic-Con in 2010, he famously made a joke at the end of his announcement where he said, "We will not be returning Eddie Murphy's calls."
Nope.
And everybody erupted in laughter, and we all thought, "Oh, this is going to be great."
Poor Eddie Murphy. he just wants to see how he
The
is.
last update was April 2015. Apparently, Ryan Gosling was in talks to star.
Yeah, and the two of them were spotted re-riding the ride at Disneyland shortly after that. The two of them were all shortly before
That's
that.
incredibly
The two of them
cute.
were spotted one day. They
Yes.
just went to Disneyland and they just kept riding it. And one of the cast members working there said that they were working on Haunted Mansion that morning. Afterwards, they went to like one of the restaurants nearby, sat outside, had like fried chicken, were taking notes, talking, then went back on for another hour, and then went home.
An hour.
Yeah.
Like think of that, because in the context of that anecdote, it's like, oh wow, how cute and how lovely. Like if I was to spend 2+ hours riding around in purgatory on that one ride,
Hey.
like, fuck someone.
But think of all the hitchhiking ghosts that would follow you home. You'd be getting one every time you rode the ride.
That's true.
You'd have a whole posse.
I'd have
You
a-
wouldn't
yeah.
even need to do the effects for the film.
Yeah.
You should be like, "So Guillermo, should we start doing the green screen test?"
Is that
no
what they-
need. Here's my 400 haunts.
He's not riding the ride. He's going in and doing just a moving casting
Yeah,
call.
They're just yelling into the ballroom. You on the piano.
So I see that on your list of particular skills, you can go through walls.
It says here you are a floating head in a crystal ball.
Is there something
You're in.
you need to do a camera?
God. I'm so upset this doesn't exist. And he kind of made it, sort of, because in 2016, I think, might be wrong on the year. He made a gothic romance, Crimson Peak.
Yes.
Yeah, but it doesn't have the song though, does
Doesn't
it?
doesn't have the music. Doesn't have grinning ghosts.
Well, if
It's
you
very,
just
very
play that
good.
whilst watching the
Crimson
film,
Peak.
so as the bloodied corpse of that wailing woman floats through the hallways.
Crimson Peak's so fucking good, guys.
Yeah,
It's so good.
So what you're saying?
Name a bad Guillermo del Toro film. Go.
All the ones you're about to mention because they'd never happened. That makes me sad. He didn't direct Don't Be Afraid of the Dark, did he? That one's not very good.
I think produced it.
he didn't do Pacific Rim 2, did he?
He didn't do Pacific Rim
Also,
Uprising, no.
Pacific Rim Uprising is great.
It'd be the worst of his films.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's not very good, but it's
No.
great fun. So we all know about Hellboy 3 that they couldn't get that off the ground, and we're getting the reboot now.
Yes.
I mean, I'm excited for this take on it, but
Yeah, because David Harbour looks the part. He sounds good.
Ian McShane is taking his late friend's role.
Which is, I think is quite nice.
It's
Little
quite cool.
thing.
Yeah,
I like Sophie Okonedo.
I like the fact they seem
Yes.
to be saving Abe Sapien and a few of the other characters for later, possibly, and not just putting them all in one
Rather than
go.
just doing the same stuff over and over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which I think is beneficial because if
You don't want to
because-
feel like a complete retread.
yeah, because I think that Hellboy isn't so much isn't a property where the mass majority of those going will be like, oh Abe, what was Abe?
Where's Abe Sapien?
No, so I think actually holding something like that back probably is fine or good even.
What else?
So in 2007, as Iron Man was coming out, Del Toro was attached to a Doctor Strange film
Ooh,
with a screenplay by Neil Gaiman.
That's a good combo of things.
The film was eventually cancelled due to low studio interest.
Wait, so the studio in this case, did Marvel own the rights at that point?
I think they own the rights.
Or was it
but
Fox?
This would have been before they started, or around the time they started up Marvel Studios, so it might not have been something they wanted to do under that banner. It would have been before they had the idea for the MCU in Marvel Studios solidified. So around the same time as, maybe slightly after Iron Man
Man.
and Incredible Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
Because they only connected Incredible Hulk and Iron Man at the last minute.
Yeah. They
Well,
added a
they
scene
came
to Iron
out
Man.
in 2008.
They both came out in 2008, yeah.
they added a scene to Iron Man. They stuck.
They did the post credits for Iron Man.
Yeah, they stuck a reference to super soldier serum into the script,
and they put Downey Jr. in
that post credits.
In the tail end
the post credits of Hulk wasn't
it Sam Jackson that showed up in
Sam Jackson showed up in the post credits of Iron Man, and then they have a scene just before the credits.
Yeah, Tony Stark shows
Incredible Hulk with Tony Stark.
Right,
and Stark tech features in the film.
It just seems. I mean, because I suppose you think the kind of landscape of the film world at the time, the idea of having a Doctor Strange film, was just like, who the fuck would watch it?
Yeah.
Who gives a shit? But now it's like there are excited talks of sequels to these same films.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's not all. In 2008, he was approached for Thor.
He was approached for
Thor.
Oh, that would have been a good combo.
And he loves Jack Kirby's work, who of course drew most of early Thor
drawings,
and sort of codified the visuals and designs for that character and his associated worlds and concepts. And he was in negotiations to direct it. He's mad on Loki, loves a bit of Loki. He wanted to put more of the Norse mythology in it. He wanted...
that's why he's mad on Loki. Yeah. I want him to become a horse and impregnate a woman with a lion. Like, wait, what?
Yeah, the giant snake goes back in time. But I think...
if he walked in and pitched that to me now, I'd be like, sold!
The version that we got suits... Because this is the thing, is that Marvel are good at letting individual voices come through, but they also do need to fit in with a larger narrative that they're telling.
Which is why Edgar Wright's Ant-Man fell through.
Yes, and why I think that...
And why Joss Whedon left.
With the benefit of hindsight, I think that Guillermo's vision for Thor probably wouldn't have gelled super well with everything else.
He wanted, I quote, a really dingy Valhalla with Vikings and mud. And it's just not the kind of thing that fits in with what Marvel Studios were doing.
I love that as an elevator pitch, though.
Yeah, as an elevator pitch.
Yeah, I want it dingy and with mud.
Yeah.
I'll tell you no more than that.
That's what I'm getting.
Valhalla, dingy, with mud, and a giant snake goes back in.
And it was in development, and then he had to leave the project to direct The Hobbit.
Excellent. Because I think Kenneth Branagh's kind of sort of Shakespeare-y opera
he gets
version,
the epic nature of it, yeah.
Like epic in that kind of like epic theatre kind of way. Like it's
melodrama. It's epic melodrama.
Yeah.
And makes for that wonderful contrast to the real world stuff that then happens later when you plonk a character from that in it.
Yeah.
We were talking about that on the episode that we just recorded that's going to be coming out before this.
Yeah.
The idea that we were talking about future Marvel films, and you were mentioning the idea that we've not really had a Marvel film that's through the eyes of a third party.
Yeah,
it's like the heroes are
like a Hulk film to the eyes of Rick Jones.
You don't get a protagonist that's not the title, the hero, title hero. And I was saying, well, that would have been an interesting way to approach the first Thor.
Yeah,
is if you started it with him like crashing to Earth, and then don't do the Asgard stuff until like halfway through the movie. Like, so you have that whole thing of him sort of no one believing that he's a god and thinking he's just a strange.
That's a very different film, then, isn't it?
But
you can't tell the same story at all.
It's a super different film. You wouldn't have been able to market it.
Yeah,
the way it was marketed, and I think it being accepted by an audience, which it needed to be, because they had to make the Avengers.
You've got to get over that hurdle, because there were so many people. One, I can count myself amongst these. Thought just the idea of Thor was dumb.
Yeah, I remember being sat there in the Cineworld.
It is
at the Cineworld in Hammersmith, being like, I can't quite believe
they're doing
about to watch this. This is
we're actually about to sit down,
about to see
and watch
Thor.
A Thor film.
The fuck is happening?
And it was good.
Oh yeah.
And then
it includes one of my favourite shots of the MCU with the banging on the window. They turn to the glass door, and the Warriors 3 and Sif are just going through the window.
They managed to fuck it up with the Dark World, and then they just went full on Kirby madness with Ragnarok.
It was like an acid trip. That film was brilliant.
So good.
It was just so aggressively colourful.
Like every scene from that movie could be painted on the side of a panel van.
Yeah,
Every single frame of it.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I would.
Hammer pulled you off.
Just more
Kids film.
Taika Waititi, big budget stuff, please. Because the man's got a vision. It's a weird vision, but it's a vision I'd like to see more.
I would like to see it.
But yeah, we can't talk about Guillermo del Toro all night because we will literally
just cry.
be
He'll
here
be
all
here.
night.
Oh, that too.
Like, there's tons of stuff I've not touched on that he's not done.
Pacific Rim 2 was one.
Pacific
he
Rim
had
2
a
was
Pacific Rim
working
2.
on.
And it just didn't happen.
He was attached to Beauty and the Beast for a while. A Hulk.
The Disney one?
That's a
Or?
bullet dodge.
Yeah, the Disney one, the live action
Holy
one.
shit.
And he wanted Emma Watson for Belle.
Oh!
And Ron Perlman for the Beast.
No. That was...
His probably wasn't a musical. His probably wasn't a musical.
It would have had to have been if it was
2011.
Well, I don't know. I think
Surely.
he would have lent more toward the John Cocteau kind of visual stuff. I think instead.
If it's Disney putting the money in, I don't think they would have gone away with that.
Well, that's probably why it didn't happen.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I want to work with Emma, but she can't sing for shit.
He was approached for the. He was approached for Godzilla that Gareth Edwards ended up doing, but turned it down
Because he'd done it.
He did Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
That's probably why he couldn't do Pacific Rim 2, because they went, we want to cross these over at some point. And he was like, I do not want that.
Wait. This is a sidebar. Are they seriously planning on doing it?
There's been rumours of it for ages. And John Boyega, during the production of Pacific Rim Uprising, which he was one of the producers on.
He got his sweet Star Wars paycheck and went, I want to play in big ass robots again.
It's like, okay. Because why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you use your Star Wars money to do dumb stuff?
He posted some concept art of a Jaeger fighting Godzilla, and then, like many directors do when they're teasing stuff, deleted it a day later.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's like, God damn it, John, what are you trying to say? Like Scott Derrickson's recently done some Doctor Strange imagery, like Neil Blomkamp did with his alien stuff. I think they're building up to Godzilla and King Kong are going to cross over.
That's the next one after
That's
King
the
of
next
Monsters.
one. So the next inevitable step is have a dimensional tunnel, randomly bring a Jaeger into it.
Yep.
And...
Kong Skull Island is technically a prequel to 2014 Godzilla.
Yeah, because...
It's set in the Vietnam War or something, isn't it?
It's set in the Vietnam War, but Monarch,
the end
which
of
is
it,
which is the organisation that Ken Watanabe and Sally Hawkins work for, is the organisation that John Goodman works for in Kong Skull Island.
And a post-credit scene.
And they post-credits tease Godzilla at the end of Kong Skull Island.
Right.
Have you seen Skull Island?
No.
It's pretty good, man.
Toby picked it
It's pretty good fun.
I don't know why I missed that.
Toby picked it up from
It's
HMV for like £10 on Blu-ray in a thick case because in it also had Godzilla. The case is Kong Skull Island, and then there's just a little thing on the front that just says also features Blu-ray of Godzilla. And then when you open the box, it's just like, oh, it's literally a Blu-ray of Kong Skull Island and a Blu-ray of Godzilla 2014. Okay, so they are laying that groundwork now to basically say to everybody, hey, think of these things together. Think of them together.
Tom Hiddleston, Brie Larson, John C. Reilly, John Goodman.
Well, yeah, it's going to be...
like
Sam Jackson's name, isn't he?
Sam Jackson.
Yeah.
Sam Jackson, yeah.
Doing his best like Colonel Kurtz.
Is Kebbell in it?
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Is Kebbell
Toby
in
Kebbell's in it?
Yeah.
The horror.
Not the voice. The sort of like commanding officer gone rogue.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, it's fucking good.
It's very nihilistic, but it knows it.
It is nihilistic,
I
it's
think I
definitely a
might-
Vietnam movie.
If you want to watch a bunch of monsters kill people.
Oh, the monster
That's fine.
designs are awesome.
Mm.
Like, some really creepy stuff in there.
They obviously went, what do people genuinely like about the Peter Jackson version that has stuck around? Oh, the creepy creature stuff? Let's do more of
the
that.
bug pit in the Peter Jackson King
Yeah,
Kong
that weird, like,
just...
they're like penis snakes thing.
Yeah.
Oh.
They are unpleasant.
It's great, but it's...
Yeah.
Andy, not only are you going to be Kong, we're going to give you a role in the movie. You're going to be the violent, nasty cook. Oh, great. What do I get to do? You get eaten by penis worms.
Giant blood worms.
Ooh. Yeah, they're rough.
Yeah.
Well,
Penis worms,
also
everyone.
smooth depending on how you take care of it.
What else? Yeah. Fucking Del Toro, man. The biggest loser of cancelled projects. Like
Everyone's favourite Krampus. Hollywood's favourite no-no.
Yeah. Any others come to mind for you, Chris? Because I've got a massive list here.
Off the top of my nog OAN.
Yeah.
Cancelled projects, specifically film. Not
Not necessarily
sod film.
specific films.
Sod film.
Because-
Shall we talk about the Batman opera?
Oh, the Jim Steinman Batman musical.
Yeah.
All right.
What?
All right. Some of the songs from which ended up on Battle Hell 3.
What?
True story.
Oh, what? Oh, yes. Yeah, let's...
What are you talking about?
So you know how superheroes have had a very sort of short and mostly unsuccessful or fatally tragic history within
Spider-Man
theatre
Turn
and
Off the
musicals.
Dark, yeah.
Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark, which
biggest flop in Broadway history.
and
if
will
memory
probably
serves.
never be remounted because it went
God,
through
no.
2 versions and both of them were awful
Yeah.
and also killed people.
And incredibly expensive.
More
To the point, Chris.
They're terrible.
It cost a lot of money.
Superman had a musical in the 70s, which by and large you can see chunks of it online. Not very good, as you can imagine. And there's been a few others here and there. There's been stage productions of Hack and Slash. Hack and Slash had a stage run.
Yeah.
In like Chicago for ages. The comic book about
What the hell is
Cassie Hack is a slasher killer, and she's got a big brutish dude with her called Vlad who wears a hockey mask, who's your atypical slasher monster, but he's her friend, and they murder slashers. And it's a really fun comic book by it's Tim Seeley, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's really good. Like it's gothy girl with a baseball bat full of nails.
Does
and
that have a lot of
slasher
name
looking...
value? I've never heard of this.
Well, no,
before.
but it got a
It's
got
like
theatrical
an indie
adaptation.
darling.
Yeah,
They got a theatrical run based on being... Oh, weird.
yeah, it's really good. Like it's a great. It's them. You know how like Cabin in the Woods was like. I want to see a movie featuring all of these monsters. Like I want to see their individual movies. They're all so interesting.
Yes.
This is like I would watch a film about that slasher murderer. I would like because they're supernatural, psycho killers, psychotic, like sort of individuals.
So you're saying that
some crossovers with franchises. There was a Chucky crossover which acted as a sequel to Seed of Chucky and was
And of course,
great.
that's right up your street.
I don't know what you're talking about. But like that was they're very thing that had a theatrical run and it did well. And there is talk of it coming back in a bigger production at some point in the future. Even though the comic book's wrapped up now, I think there's just that fondness for it. It's like maybe this story can live on in a new format. Why don't we revisit this? So it happens, and you obviously get amateur productions of stuff like recently the Alien High School.
That's brilliant.
If you've not seen it, Phoenix, Five Who Fans Phoenix Smith made a video called "The Alien High School Play is Giving Me Life," and it's this wonderful video about. That's his aesthetic completely. A bunch of high school kids performing in front of their parents, one of the goriest, most shocking horror films of the 70s, made completely from scrap metal, instead of doing just like a version of Fiddler on the Roof or something.
Yeah.
Like, he said, that's my aesthetic, and I love it. And he goes on to talk about like ownership of stories.
It's brilliant, because from what
he shows some really good clips of it.
The clips that I've seen,
it
it seems like they're playing the film on screen above them.
Or like reflecting points of it, to act as alternate angles.
Yeah.
Because,
and if that is the case, and they're kind of timing stuff as well, even if
that's very slick production.
Like this is
no
really
budget as well.
Because
budget.
What we had was me in a charity shop suit and a bowler hat, which didn't fit, with a kind of neck beard that I could grow at about 16. Covered in talcum powder, playing Ebenezer Scrooge.
Nice.
Oh God,
that was one of my earlier.
That sounds like a school production.
Yeah. Covered in talc, and ill-fitting suit, and couldn't have a top hat. Couldn't find a top hat. So
where the fuck you get a top hat?
Like
who the fuck do you think you had? Jacob Rees-Mogg?
Well, wait.
But it's okay because we washed all the talc off you and sat you down and pressed record.
Perform for us, Monkey now.
I'm walking around Manchester dressed like this. But like there are amateur productions of these things, and yet you think out of all these comic book and pop culture properties, where's the adaptation of Batman?
So
there was one.
Because that could be super like gothic opera, like Phantom kind of levels of melodrama.
He's done arena tours. He's done arena.
Yes,
it's been an arena show.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I saw that a few years back.
I had 2 opportunities and was stopped both times by a then boss.
It was interesting.
One of the many reasons why I hated him.
Oh, they're going to say by a concerned party. So Chris, don't do it.
No, don't do it. I was like, it looks like Schumacher on stage.
Yeah,
I'm going to watch it.
It basically was Batman Forever on stage.
Minus the nips.
All the black light.
Oh, it was very, very fun. Bit crap, but like in the best possible,
like in the Schumacher film,
in the crappy camp,
like the holiday park version of a superhero story.
Yeah.
But slightly larger. So the holiday park version of the Hulk in 2003. It was so fucking hilarious.
1998 till 2002.
Per
98 till 2002, Jim
Yeah.
Steinman was working on this.
Yep.
Warner Brothers, they started up Warner Brothers Theatre Ventures to compete with Disney, who were...
Disney
slaying it with
Lives.
Lion
Yeah,
King.
The Broadway
they'd
shows.
done Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, and things like that. And they still do stuff. David Ives was going to write the book. Steinman was going to do music and lyrics, obviously. And apparently Tim Burton was chosen to direct, but he's downplayed that since.
So it could have been more a consultation thing, or like...
Yeah.
Would you be
Just to
interested?
It'd be a good person to have a name, as a name, kind of, in terms of sort of validating your... Because at that point, he was the Batman guy.
Yeah.
There'd been
And so
4 films, and he made the 2 good ones.
It's like, well, we're going to do a stage show of it, a musical stage show. And it's like, but we got Tim Burton on board. Okay, so that kind of validates the whole venture.
Yeah. Well,
Even
because
if-
what happened was, in 2001, Ives and Steinman apparently handed in a completed version to Warner Brothers, but then it fell apart. And then they put it back. Then allegedly, it was reported that they allegedly had hired Burton in 2002.
More
Steinman-
likely they'd sent him an email.
Yeah. Steinman was coming out as being like, yeah, we've only kind of like done it 70%. And then they set, it was going to open out of town, trying out in 2004, and then open on Broadway in 2005. And then it just fell apart.
What would your big number be in the Batman musical? The big kind of end of Act 1.
Now,
big number. What would that look like?
Steinman
Alfred
has...
looming over a Bruce Wayne who's bleeding out on the medical table in the Batcave, lamenting this life.
And so that would be the...
That'd
Why
be-
do you do what you do?
You end Act 1 on a, oh fuck,
I won't
everyone-
bury you, Master
he's
Wayne.
gonna die. I
Steinman,
won't bury him, never remember of the Wayne family.
Steinman has put out...
It sounds like the Steve Coogan impression of that impression. It's so
She was lovely.
So,
So Steinman's put out
Brandy,
a couple of demos of stuff that he'd written for it. And also a couple of the songs, as I say, made it onto Battle at Hell 3.
Oh, you found one.
This is...
Oh my.
This ended up on Battle at Hell 3, but this is the demo version of In the Land of the Pigs, The Butcher is King, from Batman the Musical.
Wait, that was the... What is the song?
Yeah.
That sounds like something Rorschach could say.
This is a demo.
This is the demo version, yeah, not the Meatloaf version.
I recognise it.
Yeah, I recognise this.
It's on Battle at Hell 3. So if you've
Would
ever
that be
heard
why?
that...
I feel like I've heard this in another show, that way.
Might have done.
Dun, 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 dun.
Because part of the reason that Batman the Musical fell through was
Meatloaf
because...
getting involved.
No. It was...
I want to play Batman. Oh fuck no!
Thank God, yeah, please.
Dance of the Vampires, the Jim Steinman sort of horror themed show that had fallen through. It doesn't have fallen through, but it had come out. It sort of been a damn squib.
Yeah.
Because shows can open and close on Broadway within a matter of days.
Yeah.
They could go down super quick and kind of take whatever other projects you've got going with it.
Yeah, exactly.
So would this have been Batman singing this?
No, this is apparently
Gotham Chorus.
the corrupt people running Gotham. This is them singing about how they fucked the
Oh,
ball.
right. It's like Max. What's his name?
Max
Shrek. Like those types.
Rupert Thorne and
Yeah.
freaking
Like Land of
Roman
the Pigs.
Sionis and
Land of the Pigs, the Butcher is King.
You've also got Cry to Heaven, which also ended up on Battle at Hell 3.
this is Alfred. Master Wayne.
This is.
Sean Pertwee plays him.
It's very
tell
much
your
Jim
shit,
Steinman gig.
Try and get a Christian Bale like version of that Batman to do some singing. It sound like some sort of death metal band.
The Lord of the Pit.
The Lord of the Pigs.
Where were the other drugs going?
So that's. It's surprisingly camp for a.
Surprisingly camp. This is
Because
fucking Batman. Batman thing.
But did you say 2005? Did you say
2002 was when it fell through.
Oh, okay.
With plans for 2004.
Oh, so we're still in Schumacher territory then.
Yeah, we're in a pre-Nolan world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Batman's only sort of success outside of comic books at this point is being in Justice League and Justice League Unlimited.
Because the version of Batman I would want to see in a kind of musical would be kind of Phantom of the Opera-esque of him like swooshing his cape to cover up the bottom of his face, to be like, I am the darkness, I am the night, I should hide, like, I'm hiding away because I'm ashamed of my...
of the lower half of my face.
Of the lower half of my face. And
Mother, father, no!
Having it being in almost a kind of gaslit, steampunky version of Gotham.
I think...
Basically, I want Phantom of the Opera, but with him with a different kind of mask.
So what you want is Phantom of the Opera, but the Phantom's just in a Batman outfit.
Just Batman.
Christine is dressed as Vicky Vale.
Catwoman had a song.
Okay.
So Catwoman was in it.
What's it called?
I need all the love I can get. And I need all the love I can't get too.
So when you said that this is something you're sad didn't see the light of day, do you want to reassess that maybe?
No! Because, what the fuck would that have looked like?
It would have been an utter mess. I'm morbidly curious, I have to admit.
Well, that's the thing. There are certain characters that should never be seen singing as well when you adapt stuff. I don't want to see... I can imagine Catwoman singing. I can imagine Batman singing if it's done right. I don't want to see the Joker singing.
Oh, really?
Well,
guess what?
Yeah.
I've got you covered.
He's the one that's most likely to burst into song.
This is... the Joker song.
Is this on...
Where does he get all those wonderful toys?
Fuck off, they did not call it that.
Of course they call it that.
Yeah.
Is there one called I Got a Mind Makes a Moogie? That should be
No, unfortunately not.
Oh, I hate it. Yeah, I'm out.
I hate it.
The Star Kid team did a thing that's online, so they put all their shows online after they've finished. Holy Musical Batman.
Nice.
Which is brilliant. Like it's just this
crash.
Well, yeah, it's the Harry Potter musical guys. So it's that
right.
That sort of angle.
Are these the same guys that are doing The Office? No, they're doing someone's doing The Office just off Broadway, but off Broadway. You know, just off Broadway. Turn left. Off Broadway.
I'm not sure. I'd have to look at that one. Their musicals are a lot of fun. Like they're really well written, really funny.
I hear that,
and when they do these parody musicals, they're done with so much affection for the material. But even they were like, we don't know. We're not sure how we do the Joker singing. Because the Joker doesn't fucking feature in it. The villain in Holy Musical Batman is, oh my god, he's an actual character from the thing. He's called like Candy something. He's an actual Batman, obscure ass Batman villain. Sweet Tooth. Sweet Tooth. He's an obscure ass villain who basically like is obsessed with candy, and that's his gimmick.
Well, because you could just say with someone like him, yeah, this dude sings.
Yeah, but their version,
I guess
their version of him is basically the Joker fill-in. So the personality and the looks closer to the Joker, but it's because they wanted to create a singing villain that wasn't just how do we make the Joker sing?
He was created for the New Adventures of Batman,
the 60s, 70s cartoon. Yeah. There he is.
There's
the animated version.
He commits crimes.
Tubby little dude in a
with a candy motif.
Right. He looks like a henchman in The Rescuers or something.
Yeah, I know, right? He commits crimes with a candy motif, and he appears to be addicted to candy and sweets. He wears a purple sweater and a yellow hat and is clearly overweight. He uses children as henchmen who enjoy his gluttonous need for candy.
Whereas that's the Star Kid version, who is blatantly more jokery.
Yeah. That looks like Mr. Wormwood from Matilda. A
little bit.
All he knows, he learned from telly.
Yeah.
All he knows, he learned from Porky.
I saw him in the role. He was so good. Fuck, I love that musical. And this one too.
Batman on stage.
And his henchwoman was basically just Harley Quinn buying anything but name. It worked really well. It worked really well.
Alas.
By Jiminy.
Alack.
Are you going for another beer, Charles?
I am, darling. Would you like one?
Could you pull my other bottle out of the fridge, please?
Yes.
It's the stout.
Don't tell the audience what I'm doing. I'm still in the room.
Could I have a can of Stella?
Yes, darling.
I mean, could I have a can of Streetcar? So...
Stella!
God, I watched, the second Clayface episode of Batman. Mudslide.
Okay.
The one where he's trying to reform and that the makeup artist, one of the films that he worked on, she keeps giving him his plastic body. There's loads of references to the films in it. She's called Stella. There's literally a bit where Batman like pushes her back and Clayface screams, Stella! And it's just like, that's just Ron Perlman, like, reenacting a moment that he likes, isn't it? That's basically all that's happening.
Basically.
So Batman, dear listener, was nearly a thing. I was always under the belief that it was a bit more operatic, but I guess not. I guess it was rock opera in the Meatloaf
it's Jim
kind
Steinman,
of
yeah, so it's fucking rock opera. Like, that's what it is. That's what Jim Steinman does.
Rockpera.
Rockpera.
If you will. I won't, but you will.
On the subject of rock opera, you know what's been in development hell for actual years? Coming up on like 15, 16 years now.
My musical adaptation of a property that I genuinely would like to do a musical adaptation of one day that I won't say what it is in case someone else wants to nick the idea.
No, I know what it is. So, you know...
But how would Beavis and Butthead the musical work?
You know the Jeff Wayne War of the Worlds?
Yes. Dun, dun, dun.
He's been trying to make that into an CGI animated film since like 2007.
Why?
I don't know.
It will always live on better as that beautiful fucking album.
I don't know. But I think
and
that's
the recent audiobook style
I've
adaptation
not
of it.
To that, but I should give that a listen.
With Michael Sheen and Taron Egerton.
But yeah, he's been trying to get that done. Well, he was trying to get it done as a CGI animated movie, but this is like, I think 2005 actually was the first sort of mention of it.
The first whispers in the machine.
But I think whatever work was done on that has now since been folded into the various live shows.
Yeah. Which include big visual set pieces and CGI effects.
I only saw the first one.
Yeah. Who was the narrator?
Oh, still
the journalist.
They had a early de-aging tech, Richard Burton, projected onto a giant face above the. Above
that version! I saw stills of that. Yeah.
And there was some. There was a lot of CGI footage done in back projections on that there was apparently like early footage from what was going to be the movie.
Jeff Wayne's War of the Worlds, the CGI.
But I feel like that has now been
kiboshed.
Sort of kiboshed in favour of more live tours till the end of time.
Recasting it along the way.
Yeah, the Liam Neeson narrator is not as good as Richard Burton.
Yeah, you played me a bit of that. I was like, this is flat as balls.
And also the arrangements aren't as good. They're a bit too electronic-y.
Yeah, they play up the synth too much.
Yeah, a little bit.
Which sort of kills the live vibe a bit too.
So yeah.
Buy Jeff Wayne's War of the Worlds, folks.
So good. When the fuck is the BBC one coming out?
Soon. And in greater numbers.
At some point in the future.
I know it's this year, but they've shown a little tease of it in their like drama coming up this year thing, and then that's all.
I don't know. I feel like War of the Worlds is probably something that could benefit from being seen as little as possible before it comes out.
There are two versions on the way.
I think
there are two versions on the way.
Yeah, there are two coming. There's an American TV show
set in the
which
present
has just
day.
been cast. It's not been shot yet, and then
again another example of sort of parallel things coming out at the same time.
3 came out in 2005.
I know, but was one of them that garbage?
One of them was the Pendragon one that I showed you, which is fucking garbage.
Which is a special kind of bad.
But it also means that the BBC version is only the second period appropriate, like
version of it,
either film or TV adaptation, because all the other film and TV adaptations have been.
Well, even the famous radio one that was period inappropriate.
I've never listened to the whole original version of that, but I have listened to a restaging of it by a good chunk of the Star Trek: The Next Generation cast.
That's a cool crossover.
Is that just a weird coincidence that it was all?
No. It was a bunch of them got together. And no, it was like again, it's a radio thing, but it was like Brent Spiner, Gates McFadden. Is it LeVar Burton?
Where's the Frakes? Come on, give me some
Jonathan Frakes.
Frakes freaked out at the last second.
And Leonard Nimoy.
Oh!
Yeah, it's fucking great. It's really good. Same script, but just that cast.
Just for Star Trek folk doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Because they recast one of the reporter that gets fried by the heat ray, which is a dude in the original. Obviously, that's Gates McFadden in the restaging, which for those who don't know is Beverly Crusher in Next Generation.
Oh, the Doctor.
The Doctor.
Dr. Crusher.
Um,
Dr. Crusher.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, fucking, I don't know. There are literally so many movies here we can talk about. Give me a direction to go in, Chris. Give me a filmmaker whose unproduced works you want to know about, or anything like that.
Sam Raimi.
Oh, he's got his own page.
Samuel Ramai.
He's got his own page.
Whilst you're looking for that, I'm going to drop in
Drop one in.
a non-film related one, which is
Oh yeah, go for it.
Amy Hennig's work over at EA.
Yeah.
Oh, EA.
With Visceral.
EA and Visceral with the Star Wars. Was it Star Wars Bounty Hunter? No, not Bounty Hunter.
I don't think it ever had a
Was it 1313?
official
No,
title.
it wasn't 1313. It was after
Underworld,
Scoundrel or something.
Underground, maybe Underworld, maybe. It was about the criminal underworld.
It was about
Scoundrels.
the kind of criminal underbelly of the Star Wars universe.
To be reductive about it, it sounded like it was probably going to be something like Uncharted in space.
If they'd had any sense, they
Uncharted
would have
Star
renamed
Wars.
it Scum and Villainy before putting it out. 'cause
you
that
know,
would have been amazing.
I don't think that's a million miles away from what it was.
No.
It was called
Scoundrels.
I think it was called Scoundrels or Rogues or something like that, or Nerf Herders, or some kind of Star Wars colloquialism for naughty folk. And and
Star Wars, bad fodder.
because with particularly given EA's sort of mercy killing of Visceral.
It's like we were saying earlier. Like EA have cancelled more Star Wars games than they've released.
Yeah, and those they
at
have
this
released
point.
have been compromised at best.
Aye.
And
criminal at worst.
well, yes, quite. And it was someone who's been at the helm of some of the more maybe they've not been super the most kind of revolutionary stories in the world.
But
as
she
far as
fucking wrote the
Uncharted.
first 3 Uncharted
But
games,
Uncharted
right?
is as just in terms of a real pure distillation of that kind of the sort of serials of the 40s, and then Indiana Jones. And
Are
that
they
kind of-
original? Not particularly. Are they really good examples of that kind of story?
Are they well adapted from this one thing, TV
yeah.
serials and the Indiana Jones series as an example, and adapted into the medium of video games?
Yeah.
That transition of having the feel of something without it just being a flat carbon copy of it.
Yeah, exactly.
That in itself is a real skill, and not clearly and demonstrably a skill that not many kind of story leads have.
Yeah.
And to have her holding the reins of the length and breadth of the Star Wars universe, and the fact that there are so many potential story avenues that she could go down, which the films, just by their very nature, just can't. You can't necessarily go deep into the underbelly of Mos Eisley or Silmarillion. What the hell's it called? What's it called? That the fancy the planet, the planet city, the city planet, Coruscant. Like the films just can't do that. And,
No.
But
I'm feeling the TV shows, mate.
That's true. So it's really regrettable that, particularly now with Uncharted kind of having bowed out, that we're not going to be getting the kind of sort of Force, not spiritual, Force Ghosty successor to it. It's a real shame that's kind of
where it went or didn't go.
Taken around the shed and shot.
I think there are going to be some really interesting, because they cancelled the replacement. They cancelled the visceral one that Amy Hennig was working on, and they said we're going to pivot it to a game as service.
For service type thing, yeah.
And then they cancelled that.
Yeah, it's
me.
I mean, the EA's kind of timeline is just littered with the bones of good ideas that they didn't follow up on.
They buy studios, work them to death, and then shut them.
Yeah.
And then when they got the Star Wars license, they just continued to do that, but then instead of giving like, oh, make this Call of Duty competitor, they were like, make this Star Wars game. Oh, you can't make the Star Wars game? Oh, we're going to shut you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's because it's just DICE that have actually put anything out, isn't it?
Yeah.
And when you think of how many studios that EA kind of have under their umbrella, not one have been allowed or been able.
Respawn have got one coming out later this year.
Go on.
Respawn have got, I think it's called Jedi Fallen Order. Coming out later this year. They've announced the title. That's all they've announced. And it's
coming
Respawn.
out this year.
Yeah, and it's Respawn doing it.
Which one is in the Titanfall people?
Titanfall 2 and Apex Legends.
Apex Legends,
Yeah.
which is EA's like big cash cow at the moment.
Yeah, it's their...
Okay, so
their Battle Royale.
there's a slight glimmer of hope, I guess.
But again, fuck knows what that game's going to be.
Or if it will actually come out.
Well, yeah, who knows?
Yeah,
At what point between
there's
now and then
still
will it
time.
be cancelled?
Yeah, but that's an interesting one.
And Futurama as
Yeah.
well. I'm going to throw that out there because that got cancelled and came back and cancelled and came back. And I feel like every time it went away and came back in a similar way to the sort of Lazarus Pit effect.
Yeah.
That it would come back and
Came
it would
back a
just be
little lesser.
a little lesser, a little piece of it got left behind until by the time it did actually die a death properly, it was a show that was kind of unrecognizable to what it was.
Like the X-Files.
Like the X-Files.
Sometimes.
I assume.
That is better.
Yeah, that's better.
Because then like those things that you know that don't happen at all.
Yes.
We could have imagined what it could have been.
Yeah.
So had it just been cancelled, you know, midway through whatever season it was, and been left, then we could have dreamt about how wonderful it could have been. But then it's like, oh no, it didn't have the legs we thought it did.
Nope.
I thought it had a lot more
Absolutely
tentacles and
not.
legs. But no,
I thought
didn't.
it was a
A
millipede.
lot more appendages.
It was but a flamingo.
Protuberances. Sam Raimi.
No, Chris Johnson. Hi, nice to meet you. How you doing? Oh God, that's squeezing there. Shame it isn't my...
Sam Raimi has got some fucking projects. This particular page is
This cunt has got
arranged
some
in
projects.
chronological order. A couple of things that are of minimal significance. The original version of Evil Dead, which was called Book of the Dead,
Yeah.
but that became Evil Dead. So I don't think that really
It
counts.
span out of his
Yeah.
it span out of his In the Woods or whatever it's called short for, and then Book of the Dead was the film it was gonna be, and then it was Evil Dead.
Apparently, he was originally slated to direct the adaptation of Stephen King's Thinner.
Yes, I'd heard about that. Yeah.
So
Thinner. Explain
yeah.
Thinner
So
to
Thinner
the
is
layman.
Thinner is about a morbidly obese lawyer
Okay.
who runs down a Native American woman because he's being given a blowjob by his wife at the time. And a gypsy curse is placed on him by a gypsy curse, Native American
Yes,
curse.
that's gypsy now.
Well, they diversify.
You're thinking Sam Raimi, you're thinking of Drag Me to Hell,
Yeah,
which is a gypsy curse.
But yeah, a curse is placed on him by
Oh my God, Drag Me to Hell is him finally making Thinner.
Yeah, exactly. By the survivor of, by the spouse of the woman he kills.
Mm.
And he begins to become thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner every day. A little thinner every day. No matter how much he eats, he just becomes thinner and thinner and thinner and starts wasting away.
Mm.
So he has to try and find a way to sort of stave off this inevitable starvation. It did get made into a film directed by Tom Holland.
Wait, not the actor.
No, not the actor.
The horror director.
There was a horror director called Tom Holland before there was a actor called Tom Holland.
Wait, hang on.
Make Child's Play.
Who made Oh no, that's Tom Hooper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
King's Speech and Lame
No.
Round.
Oh
No, Tom Hooper's Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah, Texas Chainsaw.
Toby Hooper.
Toby Hooper.
Toby Hooper.
Yeah.
Toby Hooper.
Slash Poltergeist, scare quotes.
Right. Yep.
Steven Spielberg made
There are too many
Poltergeist.
people that have too many names. I was thinking of the wrong one.
Remove them all now.
Guy
Names
big,
on limbs.
big guy gets skinny.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's a decent. It's all right. It's an okay movie, but Raimi would have been able to bring some of his macabre charm into it, but he didn't end up doing it because him and Bruce Campbell wanted to do an Evil Dead sequel, so they did Evil Dead 2 instead.
Oh, so we've got the better end of that one then.
Yes. He pitched a Thor film in the 90s. After he finished Darkman, he pitched Marvel on a Thor movie.
Thor?
But they passed.
That would have been bad. Like
it would not have aged well. For
no,
sure.
but yeah, that's what I mean.
I think it would have had a charm.
He was working with Stan Lee on it.
Of course he was. It was the 90s. Stan Lee was like, hey, everybody's bought the rights to my characters. Are we going to make movies or what?
Imagine him as Odin.
He probably would have played Odin.
He probably would have played Odin, wouldn't he?
Probably. He and Stan Lee pitched it to 20th Century Fox. And you know why Fox didn't pick it up?
Go on.
Because they didn't understand it.
Oh yeah, because they hadn't heard of Thor. Yeah. To be fair, though,
they did not understand it.
I don't think a Thor film in the mid-90s. Business-wise, I think it would have been a really bad business decision.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, I don't think it would have made any money.
He was attached to Batman Forever after Burton left.
Okay, that I think could have worked.
That would have been because Raimi's visual style is. It's not that got the gothic nature of Burton, but it has got that sort of macabre, sort of heightened reality to it.
Yes.
I mean, just look at Darkman.
It's reality, but more.
Yeah.
Even the Spider-Man films that he did,
Yes.
which are perhaps as firmly grounded in reality as they maybe could have been.
I mean, I think the Amazing movies are more firmly grounded in reality to their detriment.
The Raimi ones retain that level of charm and goofiness.
Yeah. It's just
they strike a really good balance.
Yeah, it's reality, but just nudged over to the side ever so slightly.
It's almost as if it's the sort of warped aesthetic of someone who grew up reading comic books.
Uncanny reality.
So he's kind of suited to comic book movies. But yeah,
I'm surprised he hasn't actually made more. Like since the Spider-Man trilogy kind of wrapped up, that his name, as far as I know, anyway, his name's not really been attached to anything.
I guess after Spider-Man, he just doesn't want it. Also, I think Spider-Man 3 probably left a bad taste in his mouth.
Yeah.
And
I wonder why.
Yeah.
Oh, one producer heavily pushed him to make lots of decisions he didn't want to make.
Avi Arad. Avi Arad. Avi Arad. Avi Arad. Avi Arad.
He finally got his Venom, or should we call it Venom?
And now we've got Jared Leto on the streets of Manchester.
Oh, doing
They're filming Morbius in Manchester.
Morbius.
In the Northern Quarter.
Matt
Are
Smith,
they really?
Matt Smith and Jared Leto have been spotted.
The dream
on set.
team.
the dream team of Smith and Leto.
Smith and Leto, finally.
Hey,
nightmare,
Morbius is
guys.
going to get a curse, and science is going to turn into a vampire, and he's going to walk around in a hood
Don't
not knowing what
care.
to do.
I don't
Just
care.
like that film where Tom
Christopher,
Hardy walks around in a hood not knowing
you know what?
to do.
I don't care. I don't care about Morbius, but we're going to have to fucking watch it.
You are.
Because we decided it was a good idea to do a podcast centering on pop culture things, and one of the big pop culture things at the moment is fucking comic book adaptations. So we made this bed for ourselves, and we gotta fucking lie in it!
But Felicia, I need plasma!
Oh.
Ah, dear.
Seriously, Morbius is going to be
He was
bad.
toying around
It's
an
gonna be
idea
dog
called
shit.
he was toying around an idea called The Curse in the late 90s, but that eventually mutated over time into Drag Me to Hell.
Oh god, so that's a good 10 plus years.
So, but before it became Drag Me to Hell, he got Edgar Wright to attach the director version of it,
Oh, nice.
which again didn't work out.
Again,
And
Edgar Wright's
led-
another one who suffers.
and led to Drag Me to Hell. Edgar Wright, poor bastard.
Edgar Wright and Joe Cornish.
Yeah.
Both of whom. Because Joe Cornish, before The Kid Who Would Be King, the last thing, as far as I'm aware, that came out with his name attached to it was Tintin.
Yeah, he co-wrote.
Which he did a bit of rewrites of.
Was Sat the Block not after Tintin?
No, I think, or maybe they would.
I think around the same time.
2008.
Yeah, because he did work on Tintin. Yeah.
And so that's a decade, a solid decade, more or less.
He was still credited for Ant-Man.
Yeah, it was
he? Okay.
script by
It was-
who's the director again?
Peyton Reed.
Script by Peyton Reed and
From
Paul
a
Rudd from a story by Edgar Wright and Joe
Edgar Wright and
Cornish.
Joe
Right. But even that, Ant-Man, the original Ant-Man came out, God knows, 5 years ago?
2015.
4 years ago.
I have a huge soft spot for Ant-Man.
Yeah.
The film that should not have been anywhere near as good as it was, and it was pretty
but
decent.
Considering how good Attack the Block was, particularly as a debut,
it's fucking
that
great.
then there's a 10-year gap between his directorial debut and his second.
And I could hazard a guess as to why there's such a gap. It's because he wanted to work in that genre territory, and studios just would not back it, particularly British studios. Hollywood studios wouldn't have backed it because he didn't have the cachet, and British studios wouldn't have backed it because he didn't have the fucking money.
Yeah,
so that's a really fucking shitty thing about it.
Hence teaming up with Edgar on various projects. So
I think
because Edgar obviously was like,
better.
I like working with you. Let's make things together, please.
And Edgar Wright's one of those where, because of Shaun of the Dead, they will trust him with a genre movie and a bit of money. I think he took a bit of a knock with Scott Pilgrim, which, despite being a fucking great film,
it's arguably, as far as just in terms of
on a technical
directorial
level,
flair and command.
I think
every element that's in that frame. I think it may be his best.
I think it's his best film. I think Baby Driver is technically more impressive.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about Baby Driver. Yeah, you're right.
But in terms of overall, I like watching this the most. I think Scott Pilgrim is there.
By that particular metric of which film do I like?
Like the most. I like all his Cornetto films, but there's just something about Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah,
the energy of it.
Yeah.
It's just infectious.
I remember us talking about it when it came out, and we were saying that the way in which this is edited and the way in which the camera will move, this is something that's going to be replicated over and over and over.
Oh yeah,
this is going to become the norm. It blew our minds in when would it? Well, I saw it in 2009 or 10.
Yeah, first year of drama school, so 2009.
And it's still impressive. It's still impressive.
Yeah. That's why I did a big damn love on it a couple of years back. It's just, and watching it again, I'm just blown away by how fucking impressive it is. Edgar Wright's one of those directors. I can't wait to see what he does next, because Baby Driver was fucking phenomenal. Absolutely fucking phenomenal. But
they're doing choreographed car chases to music in a way that didn't feel like a gimmick.
It's just stunning. It really
and all because he made the video for Mint Royale's Blue.
I know, right?
In the late 90s.
It was Baby Driver was really, really well done.
So Edgar Wright's one of those where I feel like because he's been allowed to get where he can through no small struggle. He's really fucking fought to get where he is, but he was lucky enough for Shaun of the Dead to catch on.
Because in a different world, different time, different place, that would be the kind of thing that maybe you'd catch Channel 5 at midnight on a Wednesday. Then that would be where that film lived.
And it
was a small micro budget, not quite fitting into one particular genre film, cheap,
smart.
Yeah.
People don't like clever films.
Simon Pegg, and Nick Frost, they were hardly kind of earth shakers in terms of their reputation.
Kenesha still has an irrational hatred of Simon Pegg.
Really?
She can't stand him, and I don't know why.
How strange. He's a lovely man.
Any particular...
I met him once in a
Does she have reasons? Or just...
Doesn't like Simon Pegg.
Do you know what? I have a few actors in particular that I have that with, where I shan't name them just in case.
Just in case. Yeah, you've got more chance of working with them than we have.
Mime them.
Tell us later.
Yeah, I'll tell you
later. Tell us later. Maybe if you were on your phone while you were doing it, I'd probably get that, because I've had a lot of practice.
I think he said Orson Welles.
Orson Welles?
Yeah, Orson Welles.
He hates working...
Orson Welles is a bastard.
He hates working with Vincent Price. Yeah. Why would you say that?
He's a notoriously
They can't defend themselves.
You despise working with Christopher Lee. Why? Well, he never shows up.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Peter, I can't get up these goddamn stairs. I think I might have watched the behind the scenes on Lord of the Rings more than I've watched Lord of the Rings.
The appendices are very good.
They're just so good.
That's another thing that no other sort of particularly series of films have been able to kind of replicate, and just having that compendium of stuff.
That was one of the things that really made me fall in love with the idea of Not necessarily acting, but making
things.
things.
Friend of the show, Will
That's
Carlisle, Mr. Trilby, Trilby Reviews and Mr. TARDIS on the old YouTubes. He got into all of this because of DVD extras and Doctor Who Confidential. They're the reasons why he now works in TV. Doing research and doing running, doing production stuff, because that stuff fascinated him so much. He was like, I want to do that. Like, I want to make it. And that's sort of being lost now. Your featurettes on your Blu-rays are just sort of talking heads with the cast with some clips and maybe a gag reel. And that's kind of it now.
So, getting back to Sam Raimi.
And his beautiful face.
And Lord of the Rings. Sam Raimi was also attached to direct The Hobbit briefly.
I'd heard tell of this.
In between it
it's
being
so
announced
difficult to divorce myself from how shit the final product was.
Yeah, it was
like I all I can imagine is just the same shitty feeling I had at the end of them, watching them as they were, but just a different name at the end of the credits or top of the credits.
He was in talks for it, and then 2000, and then they said they wanted to do 3 films or 2 films, and he was like, no.
He was like, I've got one Hobbit film in my brain.
Yeah, I've got one film of this tiny book. We can do this book in one. The first time, my first exposure to Tolkien, The Hobbit, any of that was...
A Hobbit audiobook?
No.
Oh,
that weird cartoon.
No.
That strange Leonard Nimoy song?
No. I went to see a stage production of The Hobbit at the Manchester Opera House when I was in primary school. So this would have been, at the latest, 98, 99.
That sounds amazing. I'm sorry, I didn't realise that was a thing.
Nor did I.
Fucking was amazing. It was really good. And I loved it. Absolutely fucking loved it. But it was, must have been, at most, with the interval, it would have been 3.5 hours. Because I was in the primary school and I sat all the way through it.
That's a long
fucking loved
show.
It.
Especially for kids.
At the absolute most, that's how long it. I can't remember, but that's how long it could feasibly have been.
Well, yeah,
at the absolute most.
I suppose so, because the Lord of the Rings stage show, which they did in the West End, that was about that long.
Yeah, but I imagine it was more. I imagine it was closer to 2 and a bit plus interval, because it fucking flew along, and they got everything in there. Like, I remember Hobbiton, I remember Riddles in the Dark, I remember the Trolls, I remember the Mirkwood Spiders, I remember the Barrels, I remember Lake Town, I remember Smaug.
Remember the big dragon.
All that shit. The Smaug was great because it was sound work, and then a guy would come out, like, dressed as like a...
Oh, God.
Not dressed as a dragon, but like... in sort of drag, like sort of...
In drag.
In drag.
That
was
would
like,
be good.
His costume colouring was kind of scaly and grey. And I think
Which is like a sort of leotard, like skin
No,
tight.
he was like a cloak and stuff like that. So he was like the Dark Lord. But he was Smaug.
Right.
So he was almost like the voice of the dragon was its own character.
Okay.
And then...
Actually, you know what? I saw a version of Little Shop of Horrors at the Regent's Park Theatre.
Oh, yes.
And the version of
Audrey
Audrey
2.
2 was a drag queen called... I've forgotten her
Audrey
name.
2.
I wish. But who she climbs out of the plant.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
a smaller
amazing.
version of the plant. And then kind of just embodies it from then on. Then throughout the show. And the kind of the implication of its growth.
Yeah.
Around the city and its tendrils and stuff. That's kind of just implied.
Yeah.
Somehow.
And it's still got its maw and its tendrils and
Yeah,
it still
yeah.
eats people, but the focus and the conscious version of the plant on stage is that performer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a
Okay.
version. I've seen a version. I think it was the Pendleton version actually.
Yeah.
Pendleton College version in 2010. It was, yeah, where Audrey's voice and singing voice was performed in a band to the side of the stage with spots on Audrey 2, and there was a plant prop, but the conversation was sort of like Seymour was reacting to the prop and to the band, like, and it was a really neat way of doing it, because it was like, we don't have the budget to make a gigantic puppet that will work like the way we need it to, but we can do a puppet and a performer. In fact, it was Scott Page, I think, played Audrey 2.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, big green hair.
Of course he did. He's doing alright for himself now, Scott. He's getting all sorts of musical bits.
Doing good, isn't he? Popping up here and there.
He was in... The first thing I heard of him being in was the Made in Dagenham musical.
Oh, with Ladyface, who I like.
That one.
Ladyface.
What the hell's her name?
Gemma...
Arterton. Yeah.
Everybody out! It's pretty great, actually.
I'm assuming
were
that's
you seen
from...
for it.
No, I wasn't seen for it.
It's very good.
I saw him in Adam's Family. He was covering asbestos. He was very good.
I was in...
The show's not great, but he was good.
I was doing Lord of the Flies when it was...
Oh, were you in dudes?
Bouncing... No, was I?
Or was it Avenue Q?
No, it wasn't Avenue Q. No, it was Avenue Q. 2014.
Was that was 2014?
That was the last time I was paid to work as an actor.
Wow.
And I wasn't paid very much.
Theatre, ladies and gentlemen.
Acting. So yeah, that was stage plays.
Stage plays.
People. I'm trying to look it up now. I'm trying to look up 1990s Manchester Opera House, fucking The Hobbit. Because I remember the poster was a very stylized, long-faced Gandalf, sort of rubbing his chin like that.
As you do that, I could fill us in on one other Sam Raimi project that never came to be.
Yeah, 2001. So I was in high school.
Oh shit.
It's a musical adaptation of The Hobbit, written by Glyn Robbins.
It was a musical.
It was played.
You didn't mention that part.
Well, I didn't remember that part.
Memorable songs.
Oh, it was Palace Theatre. It wasn't the Opera House.
Oh no, wait.
That's Lord of the Rings.
There's Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Oh, you can tell it wasn't.
That sounds right, though. If it was 2001, that's them going, oh, that Lord of the Rings film's coming out. We've got to do a stage version of The Hobbit.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
that might be right, because they did that with some video games at the same time as well, because the licensing wasn't owned by New Line as well.
I think it was Sierra and Vivendi had the rights to the books.
Yes, so they did.
But,
which is such a weird tangent.
Low rent kind of...
There was The Hobbit, and there was the Fellowship of the Ring.
And the Fellowship of the Ring. The Fellowship of the Ring video game, from what I remember, actually took more liberties with the text than the film.
Probably.
And then the New Line Cinema Warner Brothers game was Two Towers, which adapted Fellowship of the Ring into it. And then The Return of the King, which opens the tutorial level, is set during the Battle of Helm's Deep.
That was the poster for The Hobbit.
That's a shit poster, so I'm sorry. Christ, I was expecting something really
no.
So that is some clip art bullshit.
No, that was
that is garbage.
Yeah,
that would put that
I guess.
that poster's bad enough that I would go into the show thinking I'm going to hate this.
This will be shit.
Yeah, I saw a version of Rain Man on stage recently, which had objectively the worst poster I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yes.
And I was so ready to hate it just on that and its merit alone. So it's testament to the show that I actually really thoroughly enjoyed it. But fuck me, that poster's bad.
What the fuck we were talking about?
Sam Raimi.
Oh, posters and
God knows. We've gone on so many tangents, and we're nearly at 2 hours.
You know, Matt.
What?
How are you?
I'm all right.
You right?
Yeah, not bad. I'm very drunk.
Yeah.
I'm currently drinking at Sadler's Brewing Co.
To your health, sir.
Mud City Stout. To your health. Chocolate and vanilla stout.
I'd clink glasses, but I'm holding a dog, so I'll clink dogs.
A particularly aggy dog this evening.
Brewed with
being a
raw
little shit.
cocoa,
Yeah,
vanilla
she's being a
pods,
naughty
flaked
little
oats,
dog.
wheat, and a blend of beautifully dark malt. Sam Raimi!
Spoderman!
Jesus, I've got to be
Spoderman, Matt! Spoderman!
Let's talk about Spider-Man 4.
Yeah, with Vulture. Ben Kingsley's Vulture, wasn't it?
At one point,
John Malkovich.
Malkovich toward the end.
Malkovich
was cast.
Malkovich.
Anne Hathaway. Yeah, Malkovich was Vulture. Anne Hathaway was Black
Cat.
But they were going to do... At one point, they were going to do the
Black Cat.
Yeah, she was going to become Black Cat because she was going to be the Vulture's daughter who becomes the Vultress. but
That's a
then
stupid
becomes Black
name.
Cat. Yes!
Mm.
But they didn't do it because it was
Stupid.
stupid.
No, wait. Why didn't they do it? Because Spider-Man 3 would have still made a ton of money.
The
January
stu-
11th.
As far as I'm predicting to see if I'm right, because I'm pretty sure it was a studio like mandate studio restrictions, and Sam eventually just went, "Look, I've heard that concurrently with me producing this, you've also been planning a possible reboot. Just do your reboot," and he walked from it.
Really?
And Tobey Maguire also like backed Sam up on it and went, "Yeah, I'll
Well,
leave."
the official line was January 11th, 2010, reported that Sony Pictures had cancelled Spider-Man 4 after Raimi concluded that he was not going to be able to release the film in time with a not-so-exciting script.
Okay. Fair enough. Because I don't understand why these things get so compromised. Because when you have the first two Spider-Man films, for example, which are not complicated at all.
No.
But they're well written and very well performed.
Yeah.
And so the minutiae of it, you look for. It's not necessarily there. Like the actual broad strokes of the story are really, really simple. But then you've got the third one, and it's just like your eyes go cross within the first 10 minutes. You're just like, what the fuck is going on?
Well, it's because the studio turn around and say, okay, we want this in it, we want this in it, we want this in it. And they do that for several reasons. They do it because you have people at the studio who are paid a lot of money and they want to feel like that they have control over something when they don't have a creative fucking bone in their body.
Well, it's the old adage, isn't it, that theatre is an actor's medium, television is a director's medium, and film is a producer's medium.
Yeah, exactly.
That's that old adage.
Which is why you have so many fucking producers on most films.
Yeah.
And also it's partly because, and this was what sort of drove the Batman movies, the original run of Batman movies, into a fucking ditch, is they want as many things in the movie as possible for them to merchandise. The more characters there are,
Very
the more
true.
toys they can make, the more t-shirts they can print, the more lunchboxes they can put out.
What's that
And they
sound?
didn't even stop to think if they were too busy working out if they could do it. They didn't stop to think if they should.
Yeah.
So it's a real shit show. That's how you end up with a movie like that.
Well, Spider-Man 3 was Sam Raimi wanted to tell a story about Sandman
Yeah.
and developing Peter and May's relationship.
Which is why there is a
based
good
on a
Sandman
revelation.
plot in that.
Yeah.
Why there is a good Peter and May plot in that, but it gets lost.
And he wanted to do Harry Osborn, not
Yeah.
necessarily as a goblin, but the conclusion of the Harry arc. And then Avi Arad.
So that was the case of...
I really like Venom, and he sold a lot of toys when I was in charge of Toy Biz in the 90s, so you should do Venom. And Sam Raimi went...
He told me Wiseau.
Yes.
I mean...
Yeah.
Avi Arad rocks up to everything, even the Oscars, in like a beanie hat and sunglasses, regardless of what the
Because he's
occasion
Avi
is.
Arad.
Usually
Avi
with
Arad.
Venom on them, or like a Spider-Man logo. Avi Arad was like...
Spider-Man.
Venom-
Dude
Venom
got his
sells
Venom
toys.
movie though. So
Venom sells
Who's the
toys.
real idiot?
Well,
that film made $1
still
billion.
Avi Arad.
Everyone
That
involved
film's
with
terrible.
Venom is really bad.
He
But
went-
yeah,
he went-
I guess we're getting a Venom too.
Yeah, he went, I want Venom in the movie, and Sam Raimi went, my frame of reference for Spider-Man is the 60s Spider-Man, and that's what my series so far is based on. Like, the tone, the look of it, the wholesomeness, it's the 60s Spider-Man.
Yeah, Venom does not fit aesthetically in that film at all.
Arguably, by the mid-2000s, Venom didn't fit into Spider-Man anymore.
Yeah, by the mid-2000s, Venom was kind of irrelevant.
His
Yeah.
last cool story at that point had been a thing with Sandman in the Sinister Six in the early 2000s, where he bites Sandman during a Sinister Six storyline, and Sandman gets infected and dies. Because Venom bites him and kills him. And then Venom vs. Carnage had been out. The Clayton Crane
I
illustrated
would argue that
cool miniseries. And that was
Venom hadn't been relevant as a Spider-Man villain at that point
since
better part of a decade.
since the PS1 Dreamcast N64 game.
Since the 90s animated series, really.
Yeah. But Avi Arad loves him because he sold toys when he was the head of Toy Biz.
And also, it's the closest thing to kind of an edgelordy character that Spider-Man has, isn't it?
Except maybe Mobius, which is why you get the biggest edgelord on the planet to fucking play him.
So Avi Arad always wanted it, so he forced it on, and Sam had a horrible time, and they said, make Harry a goblin. but like don't make him the Goblin because everyone thought the Goblin looked stupid. So stop making him look cool. And I was like, what?
Yeah, put him in a ski mask with goggles.
And so Sam Raimi eventually was like, if I have to do this, my version of Peter wouldn't become a twat wearing the black suit. He wouldn't become a violent criminal Peter. He'd become what that Peter thinks is cool and thingy, which of course is a disco dancing,
which is a really well observed thing. But just in the context of the film, it just like that's what.
Doesn't work.
It doesn't work at all because it's not clear that that's what's going on.
It makes it look like the goo turns you into a disco dancing moron.
It makes it the goo makes you turn into your grandparents.
That nothing is clear about anything that happens in this
like using really dated kind of old references.
Because it's the 60s Spider-Man. Like if I was
hot legs, he calls someone hot legs.
I think if Raimi was making Spider-Man now, he'd push for it to be a 60s period piece.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Ooh.
So when it came to Spidey 4, he just was fed up of fighting. He's I think it's on Howard Stern podcast. He said since that Howard Stern show is where he said like I'd heard they had the reboot planned.
That's fucked up.
And I just went, look, just do it.
I wonder if it was...
Well, it was to do with rights, because Sony's discussions were about to get a bit hazy unless they made a film by a certain
I know
time.
they would have had to have made one, but like it seems that it must have been one camp kind of feeding into the other, because presumably the natural order of things would have been, we have 3 of these films to make if we have to keep making films to make a 4...
Yeah.
To do a 4th one.
They were talking about doing 4 and 5 back to back.
Maguire was going to do 4 and possibly 5.
Yeah.
And they were going to recast for 5 possibly and 6. Because Maguire just wasn't keen on doing it.
And also Maguire would have been, knocking on... Like, because he had a kind of weird old man face from the get-go.
Dunst had never officially signed on for 4. She'd done talks and she was waiting to find out what Sam was going to do.
I think she'd barely fucking done 3.
What are you talking about? She's... wonderful. No, she's not. She's terrible.
She's a Broadway star.
She's fine. She's fine in Spider-Man.
She's
the
okay in
Spider-Man.
She's not good.
Yeah.
Oh, I like her a lot.
I like her in 1 and 2. I don't like her in 3.
I don't like any of them in 3. Aunt May's the only character in 3 where I'm like, I like you still.
I'm not picking out any one person from 3 and saying they're bad.
No, I like Kirsten Dunst in general, and I like her in Spider-Man.
What about Harry's butler?
Oh, because that's okay.
Exposition butler.
Basically, what you're referring to is
Sam Raimi cast an actor he likes to play a cameo, and it doesn't quite work.
It's a very, very wooden old guy who can't, and also can't get his lines out. But what it makes me think is like, oh, that guy's super old.
Super old.
He's really. It's tragic because he's not an underprepared actor fudging their lines because they were underprepared. It's an old man struggling with his words. He can't quite get a...
He shouldn't be a butler. He should be retired.
The blade that pierced his body came from your
trailer.
And it's just endless of this
guy. The blade that pierced his heart. Okay, sorry.
Well, the glider that pierced your father's heart.
The blade that pierced his body came from his gilder. It's like,
I know.
This is tough.
Wait, don't you remember that well-developed and very prominent character from the previous 2 films?
Harry's butler.
Where he's definitely present in all those pivotal scenes. Pivotal scenes.
Definitely there. No, Mr. Osborne, you're very much in.
More Willem Dafoe, please.
So Spidey 4 could have happened, but it didn't necessarily not work out for everyone. I imagine there would have been some retainer involved for some of the actors in terms of having to wait for production.
Again, that sweet Sony money.
And also, Anne Hathaway's prep for her character got her the role of Catwoman in The Dark Knight Rises.
I think they called time
I think she described it once as she basically just went from one audition room across the corridor to another with the same prep, and they went
the same costume.
So it's I'll take the white bits off of it.
They called time on Spider-Man 4 in 2010.
Yeah, so Amazing Spider-Man
just before The Dark Knight.
So quick.
2010.
Yeah, 2 years after Dark Knight, 2 years before Dark Knight Rises.
January 2010. January 11th, 2010.
And
my birthday.
Congratulations, you killed
I
Spider-Man
did
4.
kill Birthday. I did kill Spider-Man.
They put a teaser poster out.
I did kill Birthday.
There was a 4 in the middle of a web.
Yes.
To announce production had begun because pre-production had begun at that point.
They cancelled the production. So Anne Hathaway must have gone straight onto Dark Knight Rises, and then they would have immediately put Amazing Spider-Man into production because that came out in 2012.
That would, yeah.
That's a fucking quick turnaround.
Yeah, because
it shows.
Yeah. If nothing else, that film does show that it was kicked out the door pretty quick. And it's a shame because they're at the heart of... Because the heart of it is Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield.
Yeah.
And they are kind of beating heart of it, and they are such a good watch.
Yeah.
So the chemistry worked out so well.
Yeah.
It became a thing.
Yeah. And
then they were a thing, I think, during number 2.
Yeah.
And again, with the only strong thing in number 2 was their scenes.
The rest of number 2 was fucking hot garbage.
Yeah. I have a soft spot for that piece of shit.
Dung, 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 dung.
Oh, I hate that
Jamie Foxx. Jamie, no!
Jamie,
what are you doing?
So I'm not familiar with the comic book movies really. What sort of prep do you want me to do? Well, just watch Batman Forever and watch Jim Carrey. Then watch the opening scene of Iron Man 3 and just see what Guy Pearce is doing. And then basically just put on that glasses and wig that they're wearing and do that.
Yeah, just do that. Just do that, Jamie.
Okay.
I was in Ray.
Yes, you were, Jamie.
I was nominated for an Oscar in one category and won an Oscar in another in the same year.
And now I'm Electro.
Amazing Spider-Man 2.
He's done Robin Hood recently. He's had a bad run of things, hasn't he? He's got the Cuba Gooding Jr. Oscar curse.
Oh no!
But he also gets like residuals for any time someone plays Gold Digger. So he's probably doing fine.
Is that regularly now? I've not heard that song in a while.
It's like the only Kanye song that's like comfy to air on radio, pretty much. The radio edit of it.
Oh yeah, that's what I said.
The radio edit of his others are just terrible because they have to heavily reword the choruses completely now. You're such a freaky girl. Oh, I want to listen to the album. You're such a fucking hoe. Cheers, Kanye. Thanks, Kanye. Thanks, Kanye.
You're such a freaky girl.
It's funny you mentioned radio because so radio. We listen to a little bit of radio in the car now and again.
Radio. We all have one.
Radio. We all have one. But
everybody listens to radio.
In the wake of Leaving Neverland.
Oh,
Christ.
Oh, well, this is taking a...
Talking of cancelled projects.
We're going to 90-degree turn.
This morning...
the popular breakfast TV show.
I think whichever one has Eamon Holmes and his wife on it.
Eamon and Ruth present this morning from time to time. It's now on 6 mornings a week because they have rotating presenters.
They had...
Holy crap.
The guy, the bloke who played Oliver in the movie on, because he apparently was a sperm donor.
The bloke that played the movie Oliver, what?
The bloke that played
Oliver Twist in the movie
Oliver. In the movie Oliver, right.
Oh shit, okay.
Yeah.
We were like, wait, there's a character in Leaving Neverland?
Yeah. Because...
Are you thinking of Finding Neverland?
Because he was mates with Michael Jackson.
Yes.
And
because he was in the Louis Theroux or Martin Bashir, I forget, documentary. He featured quite heavily
and
in
he was apparently a sperm donor for Michael because a lot of people think that one of Michael's kids is his. Like, biologically.
Well, yeah, because they're all white.
Yeah.
Like that seems to be a topic of conversation that never really comes up.
Yeah.
The dude is biologically a black dude.
But they basically had him on to defend Michael Jackson in the wake of Leaving Neverland.
Right.
And he says, like, you only have to turn on any radio station and, within 10 minutes you'll hear a Michael Jackson song. At which point me and my girlfriend looked at each other and went, what fucking radio stations did you listen to? When was the last time you heard a Michael Jackson song on the fucking radio?
Yeah.
Or, for that matter, when's the next time you're going to hear a Michael Jackson song on the radio?
That's what struck me as slightly odd about all these radio stations, like, kind of putting their foot down going, never again, we'll never play a Michael Jackson song on our radio station ever again. It's like, had you been?
Yeah, like...
I wasn't aware that you had. Like, it wouldn't have made any difference at all had you just taken his CDs and just chucked them away.
You should give Leaving Neverland a watch.
I've seen the first episode. I have not seen the second yet.
It's hard. It's a hard watch.
The first episode has that horrific breakneck moment of... And that was the first time that blah, 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 you just go, whoa, hang on, we spent 30 minutes watching all these happy videos!
Because there was a powerful series of images that were burnt into the back of my brain.
Yeah.
Which, thank you for digging them back up.
That's all right.
That's all right.
No, it's
Next, you should go onto Netflix and watch The Disappearance of Madeleine McCann.
I could do that. That is true.
Or
Fun fact. I have shared a dinner table with Kate McCann.
Have you?
I have, because she was.
I think we've just found the title card for the podcast.
She was a trainee anaesthetist once upon a time. My dad taught her.
Oh.
And
Oh.
she's been to my house.
Oh.
I don't know if that gets featured in the
No,
documentary or not.
listen.
An anaesthetist.
An anaesthetist, you say? Here's
Anyway,
Is that
watch
always...
the documentary, see if you can spot stuff we haven't spotted.
Oh, Lord.
I spent the first
God, this
two
took really
episodes
time.
of that. I spent the first two episodes of that documentary just infuriated, trying to wrap my head around the idea that many people thought it was normal to leave infant children in a room alone. Like, and
No,
go to the restaurant
it's not.
But like all the British people in that documentary are like, yeah, it's a perfectly normal thing to do. You know,
the room was in eyesight, and they're around the
wasn't.
corner.
It wasn't. Like, it was around the corner. It was not in direct eye line. And you were like 100 yards away as the crow flies, but you had to actually go out of the restaurant and round the corner and round the front.
Right,
of the
so
thing.
there's no way
Oh
you
no!
can see...
Don't worry about it. We can see through walls.
Oh, also the window to
and
their
stretch
room
like Mr. Fantastic.
was on the side of the building facing the street, not the side of the building facing the restaurant where they were all having dinner.
Right.
But also, all of the families that were on that holiday were doing the same thing with their children. And like all the British people in it, are like, yeah, it's perfectly normal thing to do is go out to dinner and leave your children, you know, within a safe range. And then the Portuguese people talking about the case are like, is that normal? Is that a thing that British people do? Because that's not something we do in Portugal.
All you had
And
to
I
do...
just spent the first two episodes of that thing like trying to wrap it like, why is no one calling them out for this? What the fuck?
Every young person and American on Twitter was when the documentary dropped.
I guess
what?
at the time it would be. It's a perfectly fine thing to do as everything is going fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I suppose.
You do it. You say if you do that half a dozen times and you come back, the kids are exactly where you left them. Nothing's happened. Nothing's a problem. You're like, okay, this. But as soon as one kid goes missing
everybody loses their mind
for 12 years, then all of a sudden it's a huge issue.
One kid goes, air quotes, missing.
Oh, oh God. Go to McCann conspiracies.
No, we can't do that. Not on this podcast yet.
And now your emails.
But we're not going to.
Oh,
You haven't sent us any emails because literally no time has passed since we recorded the last episode. That's the magic of podcasts, baby.
Man.
I'm sorry, I'm just sat... For those listeners, I'm sat here looking at Chris while he cradles this tiny fur baby in his arm. He's gently
I'm called
rocking
Charlie,
in it.
thank you.
You shave too often to be called a fur baby.
Well,
at least I assume you do. Actually, I haven't seen you.
yeah, so, yeah.
It's been a while since we lived together. I haven't seen you out of your top for a while. Yeah.
Go on, segue from that, big man.
I can't. We're at 2 and a bit hours. We've gone on so many tangents.
Shall I try and sort of appropriate what I think an email might be?
Please do.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for your emails.
Live email.
As referenced. Oh wait, what's your Tom Monty voice? Hang on.
It's Vincent Price. It's
Tom
Vincent Price, basically.
Monty.
Tom Monty.
It's the closest thing I can do to Vincent Price.
I'll do my fruity actor voice for it.
Oh, please do.
As referenced in Doctor Who episode 345.
Which one's that one, Matt?
The Solarians have an allergy.
Wait, are we counting serials as single stories or individual episodes?
Individual episodes only withstanding.
So we're probably in the John Pertwee era at this point.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
It is stated that the
Silurians not far off, yeah.
are allergic to metal. But however, in episode 624, it is said that they aren't allergic to anything. What is truth?
It was Eric Saywood's fault.
Eric Saywood and his bloody
And his
Cybermen.
bloody Cybermen.
You see.
He didn't do the Doctor Who reluctantly answer the question.
Matt and Chris, two live and Doctor Who fans, wonder why it's the only thing people want to talk about.
Yay!
Well, what was the name of the person who sent in the email?
Oh, it's my approximation of. Actually, no, it's Tom Monty's brother.
Oh,
John Monty.
John Tonty.
John Tonty.
Tom, if you're listening, you have a
Tonty.
brother that we had erstwhile not
No,
told you about.
let's not dunk on Tom. Like,
Oh,
there
no,
are other people who send us.
No, the reason I'm going for Tom Monty is because
He has
his
a delicious voice attached.
It's the name
Yeah.
I remember really, really easily because of the stupid
Yeah.
voice you choose to do,
The stupid
which
voice.
Tom
Listen.
may or may not sound like.
I guarantee he doesn't sound like that.
He might have a robot voice.
Hello, I'm Thomas Monty. But this is John Monty.
This is
His long-lost brother.
Montonti.
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 Ah,
I'm
Montonti.
sorry. Charlie, do you not have a serious question for the serious point?
We demand to be taken seriously. Instead of inventing robot twins for our occasional emailers.
No, I could ask a question. It's one that I have already asked.
Okay.
Oh, okay. But we are drunk, so there could be a different outcome.
Boys, you can answer together or individually.
Oh.
You alright?
Like psychic twins.
What you got? Answer together or individually what?
Yeah, that's it.
We can answer together or individually.
You're right. The question was, you alright?
You're right. Chris, you go first.
Are any of us ever really alright? There's always something, isn't there?
Yeah.
There's always something.
That's true.
So that's kind of how I'm vibing at the minute.
Constant fear of terrorism.
Yes,
Brexit
yeah.
on the horizon.
Article 50. Article 13.
Yeah.
So many articles.
Will we have to watch New Mutants and review it for the podcast?
Yeah. And whatever that other thing is, what was it, Morbius?
Yeah.
Morbius, we're going to have to watch
Morbius is coming.
Everywhere.
How
The
many
inevitable heat death of the sun.
How
Yeah,
many
well, I mean, that's
9
5 billion years
have
away.
we
We'd be
seen
dead by
today?
then. That's a whole other kettle of fish.
There's a whole other kettle
That's a
of
whole
fish.
other worry.
Yeah, a whole other ocean of fish
Dying.
full of acid and
Fucking
plastic.
Full of acid.
So, guys,
Placid.
no, just no.
No.
Not alright.
We're not alright. We are decidedly unalright.
Wow.
But you know what, Charlie?
What?
You're alright.
You're alright.
Hey.
Tell the people at home / at the end of the earphones where they can find you.
I don't want you to
what's your
find
thing?
me. I want to remain hidden from all of you.
Listen, he just wants to do his shopping in peace.
God almighty. No, you can find me on... I have an Instagram and I have a Twitter, both of which are at Charlie DeMelo, so DEMELO. Don't send me anything. I don't want to hear from any of you unless it's to fulfill my request that I made...
About 2 hours ago.
No, several episodes ago.
Oh.
Months ago it would have been. Of either Matt or Chris or both as the hypothetical superhero of Dogman. If you could do me some fan art.
Yes!
Because I re-listened to that episode a few weeks ago just because I like the sound of my own voice.
Why would you listen
And I
to
realised
any of
that
these
my
episodes
life
more than once?
my life is bereft
Of Dogman.
of hand-drawn, animated if you'd like to, pictures of Chris and or Matt, preferably nude, preferably with a cape, on all fours.
Wait. If we're wearing capes, are we technically speaking, nude?
No, technically you're not, but alright, what I want is genitals. Just pictures of their genitals. Actually, don't worry about them being dogmen, just pictures up close. Just hand-drawn. What was my question?
I don't know!
Just send in pictures of Matt and Chris's genitals. Please, Actually, and if you can do both of them, and then we can kind of compare and contrast and see what you think are either of them. Who does better? So if we
Christopher.
If we could do that as fan art, please.
He's right.
Using the hashtag Big Damn.
But only because I silhouette
Something.
mine and draw portraits of its shadow.
Average at best.
So yeah, they do that. Send me that, but otherwise don't send me anything. I don't want to hear from any of you.
But you can send us stuff at
Yeah,
Big Damn Cast on Twitter, bigdamcontact@gmail.com. You can catch Adventures in Backlogging and many other streaming shows on twitch.tv/bigdamnstream.
Please don't send us pictures of our genitals.
And do you know what? Leave us a fucking review on iTunes, you lazy
Oh
bastard.
yeah, do that.
It's been a while since we've had one, and even if you just give us 5 stars and write the word then that'd be fine.
I think we're a solid 3-star podcast.
Actually, and when you're writing your reviews on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts from, if you could put Chris or Matt's name so that we can work out who would be better, who would come off better in the genital drawing contest.
Yeah.
I'm kind of starting now.
Make sure
I'm going to lean into this now a little bit.
Make sure that you pick out your favourite presenter.
Yes.
So when the snap comes, you know who you want to survive.
Whose genitals will remain
Yeah.
in
And
Earth
whose
616.
will crumble into ashy dust.
Oh, and the desperation for views, reviews and news, when that gets so desperate that when you eventually...
hang ourselves.
Well,
we
no,
can
no,
pick
result
whose
in,
genitals we use.
No, result in a fight to the death.
Yeah.
Oh right, okay.
Just to make sure you get those views up, then
Who do you
we'll
want
know kind of how many people are kind of
vying for a
each
win.
of yours.
Who do you want to place a wager on when we inevitably enter a murder fight? 2 men enter, 1 man
Matt leaves.
I do have money. I'll be taking bets. You can get in touch with me. Get in touch with me on Instagram or Twitter about Matt and Death.
Matt and Death.
Matt and Death.
No, I don't want to be linked with death, please.
Matt and Chris's fight to the death.
We have a very casual relationship.
Hello and welcome. Welcome to my new podcast. I'm Death. This week my guest Pestilence.
It doesn't matter what you see in the papers. Like, those pictures were taken out of context.
We're just very, very good
We
friends.
are very close friends. We have been for many years.
We just like the taste of each other's chip balls.
There's nothing going on between me and Death.
So I know because this kind of fade out has been stretched out a little while.
We'll just loop to the theme.
Just so that people don't forget. Please don't get in touch with me unless it is hand-drawn pictures of Chris and or Matt as Dogman, preferably nude, cape, some kind of dynamic pose would be great. I want detailed genitals. I want dynamic poses. I want if you could send hard copies to me. I have a lot of wall space that needs filling.
We can send hard copies to
Is
you.
that a euphemism?
It can be now.
And on that note, this has been the last episode of Big Damn Cat.
We literally have nowhere to go from here.
Genital pictures, please.
Oh, good lord. Bye.
Genital pictures. Don't forget. Charlie's Melo on Instagram. Yellow.